Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everybody doing this evening? Hope everyone had a good day off yesterday. I know that I did. It was nice to be able to rest my voice, relax, go see Ant-Man and the Wasp, which was a very, very good film. So I'll answer any questions that anyone might have on that today as well. Hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Let me go ahead and put this out. Looks like some people got the notification, which is always a good thing. We are live. My puppies are in my room once again because I feel bad always having to lock them up whenever I do these. So, all right, that has been tweeted out. All right. How's everybody doing? Oh, we got 9 people in here already. That is fan-freaking-tastic. Let's go ahead and get this chat up so that way I can see what's going on with you guys. Ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da. Where are you? Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I know I missed y'all. Like, I got home last night and I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe I should go on. Maybe I should try and and see what's going on. And I decided, you know what? No, I'm just gonna watch. I've been binging through Luke Cage season 2, so I definitely have had stuff that I could do. But yeah, that's what I was up to yesterday. What were y'all up to? I'm sure there were other live streams going on, but I always like to see what's been going on with people. All right, we got some 13 people. Sorry, I'm not reading the comments yet. I'm still trying to get it up. Because normally when I open my YouTube app, it shows when I'm live streaming, and it didn't that time. And so now I'm trying to see if I can get the link on Twitter. There it is. Let's get this chat up. It shows when I'm live streaming. There we go. All right. There we go. Live chat. There we go. Tina, the first person in the chat. What is up, Tina? Tina says, evening, fellow Asgardians. I've got to start some coffee before I pass out on the keyboard. See you in a little bit. Well, that is awesome. That's fantastic. Donald Hudson, welcome back, Donald Hudson. Asgardians, assemble! Yes, absolutely. We are live once again. Super Anime says, sup, my dude? What is up, Super? Nice to see you back again. Adam Davies, hey, hello, Odin. Hi, Asgard. Hello, Adam Davies. I just commented on one of your comments on my recent video, so thank you for that, as always. Will Last Name Guy, what is up, Will Last Name Guy? All the regulars are here. Super says, seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp tomorrow, so hyped. Well, I'm glad you were hyped. I think you will like it a lot. I gave it a B in my initial review, and I'd probably stand by that grade. It's one of those films where, typical to Marvel, the villains are weak. Like, I feel like the strongest villain that we've had so far has been Thanos, which is, obviously kind of like setting the bar. Oh, sorry, everybody. Which is like setting the bar really high. So this villain is not very good, I would say. That was my least favorite part of the film. It was very hard to get through a lot of the scenes that the villain was in. And then, of course, I mentioned this. I wish they had done more with the Quantum Realm. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to spoil anything else that has not already been revealed in the trailers. But I think you will like it. I know I liked it a lot. So good to hear that. The Disco Dev, welcome. He says, hey, man, what is up? That is a new name to the chat, so welcome to Asgard. Donald Hudson, what is up? He says, having a wonderful evening per usual. Was Ant-Man and the Wasp worth seeing? I think so. I think it's worth paying full price to go see. Do I think it's the greatest Marvel film ever? Do I think it's better than the first Ant-Man film? Not necessarily, but I do think it's good enough to it's a justifiable sequel in my opinion. And I think the biggest worry that a lot of people had was, is there going to be any SJW nonsense in it? And there really isn't. I mean, there is, obviously you have, the Wasp and, they're working together, but that's pretty much something that was already established in the first film. So it's really not much different there. I know that one thing that people were worried about was the fact that Paul Rudd's character, the fact that his character seemed to be like a bumbling idiot. I know that someone else had mentioned that in their review, but to me, I feel like he kind of was that in the first film as well. I mean, when you cast Paul Rudd in a role, he's kind of going to be the comedic relief. And so I wasn't really bothered by that altogether. So Dylan says, don't spoil anything, Ant-Man Wasp. Don't worry, I will not talk about spoilers. I will just talk about basic plot, things that were revealed by the trailers. And that's pretty much all I'm going to talk about. So don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything else. Greta says, hello, Greta. Cobra Kaiser. I like that name a lot. Miyagi do never know is what he says. Well, welcome Cobra Kaiser to the chat. Ratboy367, what is up, my bro? Odin teaching another class at the School of Ragnarok. Yes. Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. Oh, Ratboy, that's fantastic. Tina says, hey, got the coffee brewing. Sounds good. Super says, well, actually, Mex says something. So Mex was responding to Super saying, saw it last night, plan to see it again because it was worth it. I agree with you, Mex. I am definitely going to be seeing it again because my wife is coming back in town tomorrow. And so I know that she'll want to see it because she likes seeing all of the Marvel films. And so we'll be going to see that together again. So yeah, I'm going to be going to see it as well. I think it's definitely worth seeing. Dylan says, don't spoil anything. Don't worry, man. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm not gonna give away any spoilers to the film. Adam Davies is saying hi, Tina. TM Blakemore, welcome back, Blakemore. Good evening. Just finished renting Three Amigos. Yes. Oh my goodness. So does that mean that you finished watching it after renting it? Please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. It's so freaking good. I think actually no, you said you saw it, you were just watching it again. I think that's what you said in the last live chat. Oh my goodness. One of the best comedies of all time. Mech says, so should we now call you Darth Wookiee, Darth Odin, or Darth Ragnarok? Well, I mean, I guess I'm kind of a we talked about this in a previous live chat. I think I'm more of a gray Jedi than a Sith or a Jedi. Or rather, I'm rather more of a gray than I am anything else because I'm kind of a mixture of the two. Yeah. You can call me Darth Odin if you want. Darth Scipio, that's right. Hello, my name is pronounced Darth Scipio. Okay, thank you very much. I will try to remember that. I like Scipio though. I don't know why. So Scipio. Okay, so Darth Scipio is back in the chat. Cobra Kaiser says, Cobra Kyber Soze. I didn't miss that first one. Justin Trudeau keeps salad coupons in his fanny pack and glove compartment. That's a good shout. I appreciate that. The Disco Dev says, so Marvel had two great villains in a row, Killmonger and Thanos. So the villain in Ant-Man and Wasp is the first miss in a little while. Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, for me, Killmonger was played by the right actor. I just did not really like the character motivation very much. I can understand why people liked that like Killmonger as a villain. I personally thought he was kind of middle of the road. Again, the actor and the performance was fantastic, but the motivation was just kind of muddled. Again, it kind of falls into, that politicking a little bit that I wasn't a huge fan of. Like, kind of like, as I've said before when I talked about Black Panther, it kind of toes that line a little bit between, politics and things of that sort. So that's the reason why I wasn't really too crazy about Black Panther. But I will say Thanos was definitely the best villain that they've had in the MCU yet. And I don't think anything's ever going to reach that. And this villain is like so much lower, so far behind what Thanos was. So I think that was something. But also, Ant-Man is a very different type of franchise. So obviously, at this point, everyone should have seen the Avengers. So again, I think people are going to spoil things in the chat for the Avengers. And so I can't really protect you from that. But everyone knows that there was a very dark ending, that it was a very down ending. And this movie definitely lifts up the spirits. And I feel like that's a very good thing because obviously it's a comedy and there's a lot of comedic gold. I will say this, Michael Pena, once again, steals the show. I mean, I loved him in the first film and I love him probably even more in this one because there's just a few things that happen with him that make his character like a times 100, and it's awesome. It's fantastic. If you like his storytelling, don't worry, that does come. I'm not spoiling anything because I think that's like everyone's favorite part of the first film. So it's just basic thought process. Oh, if people love this part, they're going to bring this back in, and they do. And it's awesome. Donald Hudson says, what shirt you rocking tonight, Allfather? Great question. So I've got my tuxedo shirt on tonight, but it's not just any tuxedo shirt. It is The Disaster Artist. So I actually got to see a screening of The Disaster Artist. I got to see it for free. And before the movie, they did a trivia giveaway. And so I was able, since I'm a huge fan of The Room, I actually answered one of the questions. And so I won this as a prize. So I really love this shirt a lot. But yes, I am rocking this tuxedo shirt via the Disaster Artist, which is also a very, very good film. Super says, since you said that opinions on Marvel movies being formulaic, both from a narrative perspective and a filmmaking artistic perspective. So I think you said, what are your opinions on Marvel's films being formulaic? So yeah, I would say that there definitely is a formula to them, which is why I think that a lot of people are feeling MCU fatigue. Like that to me makes more sense than the whole Star Wars fatigue nonsense, because there have been 20 films in 10 years. That's a lot of films to be coming out within one universe in a shorter period, you know, in a 10-year period. That's a lot of films. But I will say that I do feel every film is different enough in its overall, I mean, obviously because there's different characters. So I feel like the characters make the films different enough to be able to get through them. So yes, I do think there is a formula, but to be honest, I think it's a formula that works, which is why every single MCU film has gotten positive reviews and has gotten a lot of money at the box office. No MCU film has lost money. The only one that you could argue lost any money was the original Incredible Hulk. But when you actually look at the numbers that it made and the numbers that it cost, and of course the Blu-ray sales, everything else, it pretty much, you know, made a slight profit in the long run. So yeah, I mean, it might be formulaic, but at the end of the day, I think it's a good formula and it's worked. And because the characters are so diverse and because the characters just have so many different things going on, I think it works pretty well. I would say super. Murat, welcome back, Murat. He says, hello, Odin. Let's see. Mex says, Odin's not kidding. There isn't really anything that screams social justice or other identity politic nonsense, no matter what delusion some garbage tier writers try to push. Yeah, so again, I will thank you very much for backing me up on that. So yeah, Mex has seen the film as well. And so that's him also confirming that there really isn't any social justice warrior message in it. Because again, you can try and like pull one out. You can try and force one out by saying, oh, but the Wasp is so powerful. But it's like, yeah, but they already established that in the first film, and there's nothing wrong with the Wasp being a kick-ass character because that's what she is in the comics. So it works in the long run. And also, I think that it, you know, again, they're not doing anything different than they would do. So if you like the first film and you didn't think there were any problems in the first film, you're not going to think there's problems in this one, except with the villain, but just because it's just a very weak villain played by just kind of a green actress, in my opinion. So. Let's see. Super says, am I the only person in the chat who watched Black Panther and only thought it was just okay? No, I am right there with you, Super. So I thought it was vastly overrated. Was it a fine film? Sure. It's a film that I feel that should have made money. I don't know if it should have made as much as it did, but I totally agree with you. I was not a huge fan of Black Panther. I know a lot of people are crazy about it. My wife really liked it a lot. I just saw just the whole time, every time I was about to get into it, a character would make a statement or something would happen that would just bring me out of the film. We've talked about this so many times before about, you know, that kind of narrative being in Star Wars where you just watching the film and all of a sudden something political or something that shouldn't be in the world that you're watching right now kind of just takes you out of it. And I felt that a lot with Black Panther. Like every time I was like, all right, this is awesome. I got taken out of it. And that's just merely from a narrative standpoint from calm down, puppies. My puppies are in here tonight, so they're going to be going crazy until they calm down and conk out, and then they're going to be adorable. But so going back to it, so it's weak from a narrative standpoint, in my opinion, because the acting is flawless. I will say the acting is great. I think that Chadwick Boseman is a wonderful Black Panther. I thought, you know, he's very, very strong in the film. But narratively speaking, I think there are a lot of issues, and that's the reason why I am not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of Black Panther, so I am right there. River, please stop. Sorry. My puppies are being crazy. But yeah, I totally agree with you there. Donald Hudson says, hey, regulars, love your faces. Noobs, get ready for some fun and loving community. Thank you, Donald Hudson. Absolutely. So we have a lot of fun here. Again, I know that sometimes people might perceive us to be, you know, toxic man babies and we're all white and we're all men. You know, I don't know why people would have that perception of us, but no. We are a bunch of diverse people having a good time, just talking about crap, like literally just talking about anything, like any question that you might have, any topic that you're passionate about. Please let me know in the comments. I will read it and we will talk about it. There are some topics that I don't have as much experience about, but a lot of other people in the chat do. So when it comes to things like video games, music, I have a lot of people in my chat who are regulars who know a lot more about those things, who can engage with you. If I can't engage in a topic with you, someone in the chat can, and that's why this community is awesome. Let's see. Donald Hudson says, hi, River. Yeah, I know. Yeah, River, they're saying hi. Oh, you're going to eat the futon again? Okay, that's fine. You can eat the futon. That's all right. If that calms you down, that's fine. Blakemore says, Three Amigos can be rented, but not purchased on iTunes and Amazon. Yeah, I think I've seen that before. Laugh so hard, I cried at the mail plane joke. I know, right? Like, it's a joke that when you think about it, you're like, oh, that's so simplistic, but it's just... Oh, I love that line so much. I think it's a mail plane. Well, how can you tell? Well, did you see its little balls? Mail plane, little balls, because it's a mail plane. I love that so much. And of course, I mean, just the perfect presentation too from Martin Short just is fantastic as well. I will say, when I was younger, obviously I didn't get that joke because I was a kid. And so I thought to myself, like, what is he? Is he laughing because mail planes have actual balls on them that hold the mail? Like, that was my logic as a child. And then as an adult, when I hear that now, I just think to myself, man, this is so clever. This is so funny. Donald Hudson says Three Amigos is a classic. Damn right it is. So, I mean, some of the all-time greatest comedians all in one film, and it's really, really great. Mex says, have to disagree with you about being a great Jedi. By trying to walk the line between light and dark sides, they limit themselves and their potential. So are you saying that I'm not limited in potential? Is that a compliment? I don't know. Super says Thanos is Space Stalin. Yes, but also, too, very different, because something tells me that more of us are likely to say, well, I can understand where Thanos is coming from, rather than us saying, well, I can understand where Stalin is coming from. Probably because Thanos is a fictional character, but just say it, just throwing it out there, seeing what lands. Donald Hudson says, my little buttercup has the sweetest smile. Sometimes we sing on this channel. Greta says, does Ant-Man and the Wasp take place after Infinity War or before? Also, haven't seen the first one. How is it? The first one is really good. It was very surprising to me. Actually, the trailers for that film, just like the trailers for this film, I did not like the trailers for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I thought the trailers were not very good. It did not really make me want to see it. Same thing happened with the first Ant-Man, but then I saw it and it was fantastic. As I said, Michael Pena is great. Paul Rudd is fantastic. Evangeline Lilly is great. Oh my goodness! Like, and also the de-aging effects that they use in the first Ant-Man, to me, were revolutionary. The fact that they were able to make Michael Douglas look young again is just insane, and that comes into play in this film as well. And I'm just so excited about it because it does not look fake. It does not look like CGI, which is, again, something you all know at this point. I get very, very big and very angry about bad CGI, but the effects in the film are fantastic. So yes, Greta, the first one's great. The second one is very good. As far as the timeline goes, it takes place essentially during it never tells you exactly when it's taking place. But I will say that there are different clues as to when it takes place during. I feel like talking about it anymore would be a little bit of a spoiler. Not like I feel like some of the things in there that are spoilery aren't really things that are going to be a surprise to many people. But at the same time, I don't want to go too much more into the timeline, but it's around the same time. It's around the same time. Blake Moore says, not a Killmonger fan. Black Panther had CGI and script issues, in my opinion, but it was okay. I thought it was a bit overrated. I will totally agree with you there. So again, as I mentioned before, the narrative is problematic, so script issues for sure. And yes, the CGI, I will say this. Some of the worst CGI I've seen in a film are, one, anything that happened on that cliff scene when they were about to crown a new king. That was terrible. I mean, you could just tell that all those people were not there, that it was just totally fake. So yeah, big CGI film, big CGI issues. And then, of course, the fight between Killmonger and Black Panther when they're falling into the weird electric train thing, that whole process looks really bad too. So it has really bad CGI issues, I would think. The Discover Dev says, I think Odin brought up a great point. Great actor and solid performance playing Killmonger. Maybe he was a bit overrated as an actual villain. Exactly. So again, great actor. So again, I'm not taking anything. Michael B. Jordan is one of my favorite actors working in Hollywood right now. I mean, Creed, I freaking loved Creed. Creed was fantastic. And I even Fruitvale Station, which, I mean, has some political points that it's trying to make, is still really good because of the performance of Michael B. Jordan. So he's fantastic. And I think more people are fans of Killmonger because of his performance, more so than how his character was written. And I think that people get that confused sometimes. That's just my own personal view on that. Donald Hudson says, nice shirt. Well, thank you very much. Tina says, yay. Oh, hi, Odin. What a story. Oh, hi, Tina. I love the room so much. It's so great. If none of y'all have seen that, it's fantastic. Vincent Vader, hello from Alabama. Well, hello, Alabama. Hello from Louisiana. Let's see. Navy Lax. Yes, Navy Lax is here. Yes, Navy. Surprise. Blake Moore says, I didn't like the first Ant-Man, but I'm still a fan and want to give a chance to the second. The ghost actress in Ant-Man and the Wasp is from Killjoys. Love her on that show. Yes, see, I never seen anything that she had done before, and I was not a fan of her performance in the film. So that's just me. Again, some people might like it. I thought it was a little over the top. I felt like she was trying too hard in some of the scenes, and I just didn't like that overall. Don't know anything about Killjoys, though, so is that something I should maybe add to the list? If anyone else wants to add into that, let me know. But yeah, absolutely. As far as the first Ant-Man film, I can understand why people might have issues with it, because I do think the villain is weak. I love the actor that plays the villain, but definitely I can understand why people might not like it completely. But for me, I like it so much because of how much of a surprise it was. I did not expect the first Ant-Man film to be that good. And then it ended up being this really nice surprise comedy. And Paul Rudd was fantastic. So that's the reason why I like the first Ant-Man film. Navy says, all right, I'll be here shortly. Awesome. But then I really have to go. Well, Navy, as long as if you can spend any time here, I mean, I always appreciate it. So thank you. Navy says, but Odin, you perfectly well know the real diversity cannot happen unless it's led by Aryan female. Yes, you were right about that. At least that's what some people in the media would want us to think is the only way that those things can happen. Yeah, Navy says, at least according to Star Wars. Well, I would say not only Star Wars, but also I would say also the mainstream media as well would probably make that point. Mex says, Black Panther was solid overall, but its plot was entirely predictable from the moment to moment. Yeah, I agree with you. And this is my opinion, but the film reminded me too much of Batman, and that story's been told already. Yeah, I guess I can see some similarities with Batman, but as you said, there's just some problems within the script, within the actual story, within the narrative, as I said before, and of course the CGI as well. Adam Davies, we're all about the love here in Asgard. Damn right we are. We are all about the love. We give support to everyone. That's why whenever there's anyone on here who I know has a channel, who I've seen their content, I will gladly promote them. That's why there's people on here who are trying to get started on YouTube or are thinking about getting started on YouTube. And I know that every single person in this community would go out to support those people. So yeah, I mean, I love this community so much. It's fantastic. That's why I come back almost every night. I mean, last night was the first night off in like 5 days. And that's the reason why I pretty much do this almost every single night of the week, because it's just so much fun. And a lot of that has to do, most of that has to do, and I just got the notification. So Ethan Van Sciver has just gone live, y'all. I know that there's a lot of fans of him here, and I always appreciate them sticking around with me. So thank you very much. Brian Reel, thoughts on Mara? Yeah, so I don't really know a whole lot about Mara Jade's character because I've never read. I've been very open about this on the channel. Like I don't really know much about Legends or the extended universe. I have a lot of books that I need to start reading to get to know more about it. But I know that she eventually becomes Luke Skywalker's wife, and there's a really awesome story arc between them. And so that's something that could be really exciting. So I do think overall that it could be good for the Star Wars universe to have that character brought in, because I know that a lot of people in the Star Wars community love that character a lot, especially if it means we get some more interaction with Luke Skywalker or anything like that. But I do think that if it's going to work, it's got to be with a new production team. It's got to be with a new story group. It's got to be with someone who is not going to who's not going to destroy the character, because let's be honest, a lot of these characters have been destroyed because of the people currently running it. So I'm excited for it in that it's a character that I know nothing about, but I know a lot of other people really love. But also at the same time, I do have my concerns. Rat Boy says, Jeremy dropped your name like 3 or 4 times in the last few live streams. Seems up to working with you. Really? I mean, I saw him. The last live stream I was able to really sit through was the one when he shouted me out that got us to 1K. So I didn't know that he's shouted me out a few more times, but I would, oh my goodness, I would love to work with Jeremy. Like sorry, my river is now trying to eat my trash. But no, I would love to work with Jeremy. I mean, Jeremy has just been, again, as I say this all the time, he's been so supportive. He's one of the many reasons why I was given the driving force to actually start on YouTube, to really start, putting out videos, putting out content. Since I saw that this was a guy who spoke from common sense, I agreed with almost every single thing he was saying, and I saw that people were just flocking to him. And I thought to myself, this is great that there's such a strong community. I didn't think that there was going to be a stronger community that would like that kind of content, because most people like, the very like, oh, we love the films, and oh, we love the studios, and we love our press passes, and it's so great. That's pretty much like what I've been used to in a lot of the reviews that I watch and a lot of the, the movie channels that I watch. But then I saw Geeks and Gamers, then I found Jeremy, and Jeremy was just like a boss. Like he was just spitting out truth. He didn't care what anyone thinks. And I was like, I'm so glad that there are people like this out there, but also that there are people that like to hear that. And so that was one of my motivating forces, because I was always wanting to say these things, but I just never felt like, I felt like if I had tried, I would have been shot down. I would have just been attacked, not to say that I haven't, but I felt like it would have been overwhelming. But the overwhelming support I've gotten from him and so many others has been fantastic. So if he says that he wants to work with me, I mean, I know that we've been in contact on Twitter, and I know that he's gonna stop by, and we're gonna try and grab some lunch when he comes here to New Orleans. I don't know exactly when he's coming yet, though, because obviously we know that his email, his chat is just so blown up, and he's so behind all those things. But if he ever reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to do a video for me?" or "Hey, do you want to do a live stream together?" I would jump at the bit at that, because he's awesome, and I would really like to get him to know him better, because I think that we'd get along very, very well, just from our own personalities, personality-wise. So, Rat Boy, thank you for that. Yeah, that's awesome. Navy says, hello, everyone. He is great. Navy says, thanks, be here for on, though. Sorry. I think it's sorry for not being here for too long. That's fine, Navy. Again, I know you have a lot going on. That's totally fine. Sith Lord Luke Skywalker. Odin, what is up, Sith Lord? Go check him out on Twitter. He is awesome. Blake Moore says, laughing at the male plane joke again right now. I know, it's just so funny. Like, it's so simplistic, but it also, the delivery is just fantastic. Navy says, gotta drive my old man tomorrow. Hey, no problem at all. Darskipio says, what do you think of the Kerry Russell in Star Wars Episode 9? Where we said, yeah, I just talked about that. A lot of people are thinking that Kerry Russell is going to be playing Mara Jade, so it could happen. I think that overall it would be awesome to see that character brought into the universe and made canon. But at the same time, I'd rather see more capable hands dealing with that character with what little I know about that character. Navy says he's going sailing with my oldest brother for the weekend. Nice. That's awesome. Sith Lord says that was the first movie I ever seen anybody eat a bat. I know. And it made me want to eat the bat. Like, it just looked like chocolate. And it just made me want to eat it. I knew that it wasn't an actual bat, but I just really wanted to eat. I totally get what you mean there. It's the first time we've seen it. Other than Ozzy Osbourne, it's the first time that I've ever heard of anyone eating a bat. And yeah, so I totally agree with you. And it looked delicious. Navy says, in the comics, Thanos is in love with death, but so is Deadpool. Yes, and that was something that a lot of people were wondering. Are they going to bring that story arc into the movies? I don't think they will, because I don't think it would play well with general audiences. And if I know anything about Kevin Feige and the MCU and everything that they've been doing with the MCU, is they want it to not only appeal to comic fans, but also to the general audiences. So I doubt they're going to bring that story arc in, though I will say, if they were able to do that and bring Deadpool in and somehow get a combination of the two, that would be really, really cool. I would love that personally. Sith Lord says, would you say I have a plethora of piñatas? Oh, sure. You have a plethora. Jefe, what is a plethora? Why, guapo. Like, now, every time I quoting that film makes me want to watch it again. It's so good. Mex says, no smart Alec, Gray Jedi. No smart Alec. Oh, calling me out, man. Gray Jedi limit their potential because they're dangling on two different approaches. Both Jedi and Sith look down upon them for their lack of commitment. All right. But again, I don't feel like I'm that strong of a Sith, but I also know that I'm not a Jedi. So that's the reason why I immediately go to the gray. If that makes me weak, then yeah, I'm sorry. Navy says they still haven't quite worked out. Hey, stop fighting. My puppies are crazy. Navy says they still haven't quite figured out mouth movement with CGI de-aging yet. But I will say this, though. I think it depends on what movies you've seen. Whatever they're doing in Ant-Man is working fantastic. It looks great. I mean, it looks near flawless. Now, if you're talking about complete CGI characters, those don't look very good. I really don't know what they're using. I guess it is a form of CGI that they're using in Ant-Man, but whatever it is, it looks fantastic. So for that, I haven't seen an issue with it yet, personally. Donald Hudson says, ask my dad what it meant to be a mail plane. Not skipping a beat, he said, because it delivers mail. My dad was in the Navy. That's awesome. Dads are amazing. Don Draper, welcome back to the chat. I'm just about to go out for the night, but I wanted to stop by and wish everyone a great night. I'll be here tomorrow. Fantastic. That sounds great. I will be picking up my wife from the airport tomorrow night, so I will probably get on early. And if I have time, then get on a second stream later, though I haven't seen my wife in a week, so I probably won't get on later because we need to catch up and spend some quality time together. But I will jump on early. So I don't know what time zone you're in, Don Draper, but I will be on early. I will definitely do a live stream tomorrow, but it will not be at the same time. We will go back to regular time on Sunday. Super says, also, this might be a stupid question, but why did Thanos even need to collect all the Infinity Stones? All he needed to accomplish his goal was the Soul Stone. Well, yeah, I mean, because again, I'm not a comics-based person, so all I really know about the Infinity Stones is what's been revealed in the film so far. And I think that the way that the films present the Infinity Stones is that each one has a certain power to them, but when all of them are together, they are able to coincide with each other. So yes, the Soul Stone has that ability, that power, which is, again, to complete the goal that he had, which was to take out half of life in the universe. But I feel like it would have been limited in space. Again, no, the Space Stone would have been limited in space and scope without the other stones. So all the stones together with that power, that's how he was able to take out half the universe and to do anything else that he needed to do. So I think that's the reason why he needed all the stones. But again, there might be more in the comics that help to explain that further, but at least narratively from the films, that's how I perceive that particular story point. Sith Lord says, I haven't seen Black Panther, but somebody told me it was a live action Lion King movie. Yeah, I mean, do I think it's worth? I think that one should see it just so that they know what they're talking about when people ask them about it. But it's not a film. It's one of those films where it's like, you don't have to watch it. I'm never going to watch it again. I can tell you that much. I have no need to watch it again because again, every time I was about to get into the film, they made a comment or something happened. I was just like, oh, okay, you just brought me out of the film. And I don't want to be lectured in a film. Again, we go to the films to escape. We don't need this, again, so that's why it kind of like, because it did have really awesome moments, and I just don't feel like it was balanced very well personally. Navy said, yeah, Black Panther had Spider-Man 1 like CGI, yeah, especially for those few parts. Donald Hudson says, how can you say I have a plethora? How can you say I have a plethora? You don't even know what the plethora is. Jeffrey Toon, what is up, Jeffrey Toon? Everybody, a little late. Hey, better late than never. Jeffrey Cotto, what's up, Jeff Cotto? Go check out his channel. He says, happy Friday, guys. Odin, my brother. 1.001, awesome. Yes, so I'm up to 11. Oh, there she goes again. Knocking down all my books because she has to come up this side. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move these books. Hey. Move those books over there. And then these books are going to move back over here. And then if she tries, get off of that side. Puppies. I love her, though. I do love her. And now she maybe lost the chat. So many things. But anyway, I did just hit 1,100 subscribers, so thank you, Jeff Cotto, for that. I do greatly appreciate your comment, and it really does mean a lot. So thank you very much. All right, sorry guys. My dog. There we go. There it is. All right, back. Jeff Cotto, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, it's insane. So I'm very thankful for everyone that is a recent subscriber or has been subscribed for a while. Thank you so much. I mean, I really greatly appreciate it. It's just really awesome to see this community grow, and I really hope that the live streams grow as well. I mean, I like these small groups that we have, but of course, I think, the more voices we have, the more fun we can have. That's just my mindset with it. So thank you all for being here. And again, for all the regulars here, I mean, I love you guys. Y'all are awesome. Again, y'all are the only reason why I keep coming back every single night, because y'all are fantastic. Super says, also, why did Thanos have to wait until he was hurt to use the Soul Stone? Well, River's trying to answer the question, but yeah, that is a very good point. I mean, I definitely think that it probably was more so to build drama in the film, not necessarily from a logical standpoint, but instead to try and build on the narrative. I think that might be the reason why Thanos didn't act on it sooner. But also, too, like, as soon as he got all the stones, he was trying to act on it, but they kept him from closing his fist. So I do think that maybe that had a part to do with it as well. I don't know. That's a good point, though. That's a very, very, very good point. Let's see. The Disco Dev says Black Panther did have terrible CGI. Yes, it did. Why didn't Coogler use the real actors and in particular utilize MB Jordan's skill set in the developed Creed, a film Coogler directed? I agree with you there. Absolutely. I mean, I feel like, especially with the suits, they could have made some very good practical effects suits. Like, they could have done a very good job with that and made those fights almost entirely practical effects. Like, there is no reason for them to be CGI fighting all the time. Like, there really isn't. Like, especially with the fact that Black Panther is more so, I mean, it's more of just a fighter, like a, ground and pound fighter. I don't think you need to have all the crazy flips and all the crazy stuff going on with this character. I mean, there might be a place for it, but I feel like, especially when you have those actors, when you have that ability to use practical effects, I mean, because again, Coogler has that experience already, having worked on Creed and did a great job with those fight sequences. I don't know why he didn't do that in this one. This Go Dev says the end fight suffered. It really did. I mean, it suffered so much because of that terrible CGI. Gizmo87, what is up, Gizmo87? Welcome back. Same here. I was pleasantly surprised by Ant-Man. Me too. Very pleasantly surprised. Adam Davies says, sorry guys, split Asgard, babysitting my niece today. Well, thank you very much for joining, Adam Davies. You are always welcome here. And say hello to the niece. Hope everything goes well. Blaymore says, Killjoys is a sci-fi. It's a bit SJW, but I can actually put that aside for the sci-fi elements. Okay. All right. I'm not quite sold on it yet to be put on the list, but I do appreciate that shout out. Navy says, Kevin Feige really is the man holding the ropes considering the MCU. Absolutely. I mean, and that's the reason why I think the MCU is doing so well. It's because this guy obviously knows what he's doing. He has a plan. He's implementing that plan. He's not letting anything from the outside affect it. And I feel like that's the biggest problem with Star Wars is that they don't have someone who is really, holding the reins in a very good way, is not keeping things together, does not have a forward-thinking plan, and instead is just going movie to movie. And that's the reason why that the Star Wars universe is in such a mess, because when you have Kathleen Kennedy just going movie to movie, you get Star Wars Episode 7, and then you get the mess that was Episode 8, and now where in the hell do they go for Episode 9? That's what happens when you don't keep things together. That's what happens when you don't have a forward-thinking plan. Again, 10 years, 20 films, MCU. Star Wars, we've had 2 real main films in the last... Sorry, Mike. Stop that. What are you ripping? That's fine. That's an old sock. You can rip that. But I mean, you're not having that same forward-thinking mindset with Kathleen Kennedy. So yeah, Kevin Feige knows what he's doing. Again, I don't know what his politics are. I think he's, probably on the liberal bent of things, but he's not a full-on SJW since he's not trying to bring those things into the film. So overall, I think Kevin Feige is doing a very, very good job. So Navy says, let's just say I found a different way to see it. Ah, yes. We know those different ways, Navy. We know those different ways. Let's see. Gizmo. Oh, sorry. Mech says, I like EBS content, but you can't get a word in edgewise in his chats unless you're willing to send him super chats. Yeah, and that's the reason why I like to do this chat in particular, especially during Tuesday High Councils, because there are a lot of people that all they want to do is get their voice out there, engage in conversation in a chat with the host, all those other things. And because we're a smaller channel, we're able to do that in a lot better fashion. And again, I understand like EBS is doing the best that he can. I mean, he's getting, thousands and thousands of chats, and it's so impossible. It would be impossible for him to do what I'm doing, which is to read every single chat, to really go through all the chats. So he's kind of limited to just super chats. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the reason why I love this channel. And I love what we're doing here so much, because I feel like we give everybody a voice. And it's not to say that EBS doesn't want to do that. It's just that he physically can't because of how big the channel is. Same thing with Geeks and Gamers, the High Council, everything. And that's the reason why I like us having the small community. But again, I think we can still grow a little bit more and still keep this style. But I would like to do this style for as long as I can. Gizmo says, wasn't Mara Jade the Emperor's hand? How can they introduce her now? Again, I don't really know a whole lot about that, but I'm sure someone's going to answer you in the chat. So sorry that I can't engage you on that. But yeah, I mean, if that is indeed the truth, then I think that's a very good point to make. I think that's a very good point. Let's see. Jeffrey Toon, that's the problem with bigger channels. Exactly. That's the big problem with big channels. Again, I love them. I watch a lot of them, but they are also very limited in what they can do as far as interaction. That's the reason why I love what we do here. And that's also the reason why, and I wanted to bring this point, you see this already in the title. That's another reason why I wanted to talk about this now, because someone in the last chat mentioned something about Patreon, but I have not done anything yet with that because I've been really holding back on that because I've never really understood it and I've never really known what to do with it. So I wanted to ask y'all, since we have pretty much our regulars in here and probably as big as we're going to get tonight, I wanted to ask, one, if y'all could let me know, should I make a Patreon page? Do you think that would be a good idea? Do you think that there would be something that y'all would like to see? So just put Patreon yes or Patreon no. Since I'm behind the chat, just let me know. So if you just put yes or no, I'm not going to know what. Hey, I'm not going to know what y'all. River, stop. I'm not going to know what y'all are talking about. But if you put Patreon yes, Patreon no, I'll know what you're talking about. And also, if you have any ideas for things that I could offer certain tiers, because I'm not going to go very high. I'm going to probably do like 1, 3, and 5 or something, like something really, really low. Because again, I don't really understand it, and I don't really want to. I hate asking. I don't want to ask people for money. Like I'm going to offer something. If anyone donates to me at all, I'm going to give them something. Like I'm not just going to take it and say, oh, thank you very much. I want to give something. Again, the whole point of this is to create content for you guys, and so just put Patreon yes, Patreon no, and then also if you put Patreon yes, maybe put Patreon idea, and then give me some ideas for what things you might like to see, something that you would be willing to donate for, and then I can try and compile things and then decide if in the end I'm going to start one. So yeah, I would greatly appreciate that feedback. So again, instead of just starting one and saying, oh yeah, I'm only going to offer this content for these people, I'm not going to do that ever. But if there's something more that you want me to do, since I'm already spending a lot of time on this channel already, but maybe if there's something that you maybe want me to do a podcast, like an exclusive podcast, or maybe something else. Again, I want it to be something that you get though. So please just let me know in the comments. I would greatly appreciate that. So thank y'all so much. Let's see. Mex says, no, I do not want KK and her cronies anywhere near Mara Jade. Again, I agree with you. So it sounds like Mex knows a lot more about that character, and I can understand the sentiment. Again, if it's a good character that I know a lot of people love, and with this current crowd of people, I don't think it'd be a good idea to have them anywhere near it. Maybe says, I have to admit, except for the actors cast, then Valerian is a lovely homage to the Star Wars we grew up with. You mean Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets? Is that the film I'm talking about? Because I knew that film bombed, and I didn't really like the cast overall, personally. So yeah, it's like, except for the actors cast is what he said. So I can agree with you there. So that's a film I have not yet seen because I mean, I love Dahan. I think he's very talented. He just didn't seem like even in the trailers, he didn't seem like he fit the role that he had. And then whatever the girl's name is who played the lead, she just has the same face in every film. She played Enchantress in Suicide Squad, and she was one of the worst parts of Suicide Squad because Suicide Squad just had her shaking her hips, doing a belly dance the entire movie, and just wasn't a very good villain. So yeah, I mean, is that a film I should see just to see the homage, or is it something where, because I think it's based off of based off a book, so maybe the book would be something to look into instead. Navy says, perhaps Star Wars can't be saved by at least a Valerian is here to comfort us all. There was always an upside. Donald Hudson says, Mara Jade was the Emperor's hand, but also ended up being Luke's wife. Yeah, someone mentioned on the previous stat saying that she started off essentially as a bad guy, and then eventually got with Luke. So sounds like but because of that fact that she was bad and then became good and ended up with Luke Skywalker, who used to be the pinnacle and the center of hope in the universe, that is something that I would love to see. I think that'd be a really awesome story arc. And I think that the actress that they have who might be Mara Jade, again, that's all speculation at this point. I think she's great. I think that she would do a great job no matter what role she was given. But yeah, not with the current people that we have right now. Mex says, sorry for the outburst. Mara's one of my favorite characters, and LF has already screwed up Thrawn for me, and I don't want them getting their dirty fingers on her. I totally agree with you. Again, I understand what it's like to love a character, to love a franchise, and then to see people tinkering with it and trying to essentially destroy it. And so yeah, I wouldn't want that to happen either, especially since you love that character so much. Navy says, I will give The Force Awakens credit for one single scene, the one with Han and Ben. Yes. Again, I think that scene, I think that if episode 8 had been good, if The Last Jedi had been good, the scene between those two would have been even more powerful and would have been justified. Because remember, that is the scene that essentially killed off any chance of us seeing the big three back on the big screen. But I think most fans would have been fine with that if episode 8 had gone in a direction that was more compelling and actually made sense. So I think you make a very good point there. Jerry Toon says it turned out there were multiple Emperor's hands. Okay. Let's see. Donald Hudson says Mara Jade died a Grand Master of the Jedi Order. Okay. Very well, spoiler alert for me, but I figured, I mean, there's all these characters have so many different story arcs. And so I don't mind being spoiled on that. If anyone else does though, I'm very sorry. But I assume these books have been around for a while and that this story has been known for a while. So it kind of like hits that same treatment where if it's been out for, a month, 2 months, you kind of, you can't be safe from spoilers. Let's see. Blakemore says, I think they could have a Mara Jade type character dynamic with Kylo, not Reylo, and have them bring that inspiration in a new way. I hate The Last Jedi, but I like Adam Driver. I like Adam Driver too. Like if you don't know his backstory, he served in the military. And if you want to really understand him better, he does a really great TED Talk. So just look up, not Kylo Ren, look up Adam Driver TED Talk. He's actually a really cool person. Like he's doing a lot of great things, specifically for the military. So I have a lot of respect for him as an actor, and I thought he was great. There's a really great film he did called Patterson. It's very, very slow, very dry, but he's great in it. So yeah, I like him as an actor, even though he was on Girls, even though he got to start on Girls, which is a garbage show, a terrible show. He's actually a very good actor. So I do like Adam Driver a lot. I'm sad that they had to screw up his character in The Last Jedi. Max says, if LF hadn't screwed up, I would have loved to have seen a Star Wars standalone film about Mara Jade when she was the Emperor's hand, especially during the events of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that would have been compelling. Again, going from that to being with Luke Skywalker is a very huge change. And that, to me, already, before I know anything else, presents or at least suggests a very interesting and compelling character arc. Gizmo says, since there are no more Emperor's hands, is Mara Jade going to be Snoke's hand? Well, yeah, and that also lends credibility to the fact that maybe Snoke is still alive. Maybe Snoke, because Snoke had all those scars, maybe Snoke is able to save himself from death, pull himself back together. Who knows? I mean, there's so many things that they could do with it, but at this point, I'm not really that interested because of everything that happened with Rian Johnson. Will Last Name Guy says, I agree, Max. At this point, nothing from Legends can or should be adapted to the new canon. Yep, totally agree with you there. Navy says, supposedly an insider has written about the infighting at Lucasfilm. Yeah, so that is something that's referring to a video that that Jeremy did earlier today on over at Geeks and Gamers. Definitely go check it out. So someone who used to work at Lucasfilm posted several different points about what's been going on, and people think that it might be a legitimate leak, and it might be from someone who was very close to J.J. Abrams, because it's a very pro J.J. Abrams post. But definitely go check that out, because he brings up a lot of interesting points, and if they're true, it tells a lot about what might be going on behind the scenes right now. Jeffrey Toon says, why would Leia and Han call their son Ben? They hardly knew him. Luke calling his son in the EU Ben made much more sense. Well, I think they say they hardly knew him, but keep in mind that they had him, at least in The Last Jedi, or rather in The Force Awakens. I mean, he was a teenager, at least an older teenager, by the time he turned to the dark side. So, I mean, he was their son. He was still their son for a good, 17, 18 years, at least by the film standards. So they know him well enough, I think, to be able to say that, So, yes, but I don't know enough about the EU to really understand that second point in particular, but I think that, I think you might have a point. Navy says, apparently things are a lot worse over there than we thought. Yeah, definitely, if those things are true from the Reddit post. Trevor Toon says, never been a big fan of Mara Jade. Yeah, again, I don't know much about her, but she sounds pretty cool, especially going from, the dark side to the light side. I think that's really cool. Trevor Toon says, also, Matt Damon. Trevor Toon, I just think you like me saying Matt Damon. It's like I have to say it every single time I say his name. Navy says, by the way, isn't it amazing to think that the action film Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger from the 80s had a female lead of color? Yeah, I've actually never seen Commando. It's in my library. It's one of those films that I am going to see at some point. I want to see one day. But that's an interesting point. I actually did not know that. And yeah, it definitely says a lot. It's definitely a lot to think about. Meg says, hey, what about the Ang T monks? I think you could fit in really nicely with them. Well, again, I don't know anything about Legends or the EU, so please explain them to me. And anything that's a monk, though, I definitely have that kind of personality. I mean, ever since I was younger, I always wanted to become a monk. In fact, I think that they filmed some of their scenes for The Force Awakens and Last Jedi on Skellig Michael, which is an island off the coast of Ireland, which is just beautiful, but it's where monks used to live. And ever since I've seen pictures of it, it's like, I would like to live there. So maybe I would. Donald Hudson says, bow, chicka, wow, wow. Tina says, oh, Uncle Ethan is talking about some comic book type thing, blaming the fans yet again. I'm guessing it's from Lucasfilm. We fans are at fault for everything. I know it's all our fault. Again, we're all the fault. It's our fault for being fans. It's our fault for loving a property. It's our fault for loving characters. And yeah, it's just always our fault. It's always us. It's never them. Blakemore says, Matt, the radar technician on SNL, was a better episode 8 than Last Jedi. That was the first time I loved Adam Driver as Kylo. Yes. Oh my goodness. So if you don't know what we're talking about, look up SNL on YouTube, and Matt, look up, it's Undercover Boss Star Killer Base. And it is hilarious. It is absolutely fantastic. He's like, I just love when he does he just sticks out the thumbs up. Oh man, Adam Driver's fantastic. Navy says, supposedly Adam Warlock plays a big part in the Infinity War comics. Yeah, so basically, it looks like what they're trying to do in the MCU is to make, instead of using Adam Warlock as that character with the Infinity Stones, is now trying to make Captain Marvel to be the one instead. And especially everything that we know about what Brie Larson has been saying and everything it looks like they're trying to do with these characters, especially since we know Adam Warlock was the one that played the role in the comics. It looks like they're trying to make it a female-centered story, which, again, if they did it right, it wouldn't matter as much. But, who knows how that's going to play out. Navy says, by the way, what are your guys' thoughts on Tom Hardy's Venom? So, yeah, the trailer doesn't look very good. The CGI is spotty. There's a couple times when the CGI actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to go see it because I do love Tom Hardy. I think Tom Hardy is fantastic. I love almost every single movie I've ever seen him in. But the film overall, I just don't know. I'm not too excited about it based on the trailers. I'm going to go see it, but the trailers don't make it look too compelling in my opinion. Don Hudson says, I'm really hoping Venom is going to be good. Tom Hardy is an awesome actor. I agree. Tom Hardy, if you want to see an acting showcase from him, there's this excellent short film, independent film called Lock, and it entirely takes place in a car with him talking to people on a cell phone. And it's just, oh my goodness. Like, if you didn't think he was a talented actor, watch that film and it will probably change your mind because it's absolutely fantastic. Navy says, I mean, I'm no fan of the British actress Cara Delevingne, yeah. To me, she's just as hollow as Boost Pitt, but Dane DeHaan was fine. Yeah, Dane DeHaan is great. I mean, if anyone's ever seen, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, what's it called? Chronicle. If anyone's ever seen Chronicle, Chronicle is fantastic. Dane DeHaan is a rock star in that film. I mean, he had such potential coming out of the film, and he's just not chosen the best projects for his acting style. And I don't think Valerian was a very good. Oh, hey, no, enough. Sorry. Oh man. That scares me when they do that, but they're fine. I mean, they fight like that all the time, but yeah, they're fine. But yeah, I agree with you. Again, Dane DeHaan just was not very well cast, but yeah, Cara Delevingne, I'm not compelled by her at all. Trevor Toon says, chill pill time for the doggies. Yeah, if you thought that then, we're about 20 minutes later. Oh my goodness, I'm 20 minutes behind. If you thought that then, we're definitely there now for sure. Donald Hudson says, Benadryl and peanut butter. I mean, never. I've never tried that before. Unfortunately, never is allergic to peanut butter. She actually breaks out in a rash. It's not very good. We found out the hard way, but yeah. I don't know if I don't think I'd ever do that. Jeffrey June says, Cara Delevingne is a privileged white girl. Why is nobody attacking her? Fair points. Greta says, yeah, I really don't like when a singer or model gets parts in films, especially when they aren't good. A hard-working real actor loses out. Yes, especially one like Greta, who is a hard-working real actor, SAG member, our SAG member here. And yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't like when people like that are given roles just because of their looks and they have no talent. It just, I don't like it. It doesn't work. 70B says, hey, what's up, 70B? Welcome back. There she is. My two Valkyrie are now here in the chat, and it is always better when I have two Valkyrie, especially my general, who is Stephanie. Navy says, Greta plus models are not always that pretty. They're just tall. What? Trevor June says, yeah, she was a model, so she can act. I think not exactly. Again, just because you're a model doesn't mean you can act. I mean, again, her face, there's just something about her face. In every film that she does, I'm just like, I don't want to look at that. I'm not saying she's ugly or anything. It's just like, there's no acting there. Again, there's just no life in that. It's essentially, I hate saying this because I don't want to, if anyone's a model in the chat, I want to apologize now. But I feel like models just have this dead face, and it's a part of like their job, I guess. But I just, yeah, it doesn't work for it. That face does not work for film. And it doesn't work for her for sure. Maybe it's a every tune like Mark from the room. Oh, hi, Mark. Super says, the end of Black Panther really kind of annoyed me too. What really saved the movie was the casting, like you said. Lupita Nyong'o was excellent too. I love Lupita Nyong'o. I think she's a fantastic actress. She was really, really good in 12 Years a Slave. She was fantastic in that film. I believe she won an Oscar for that role too, and she deserved it. She was fantastic. But yeah, the end was not very good. In fact, the entire speech that Black Panther gives at the very end, to me, was a commentary on modern American politics after the 2016 election. And I don't want to see that. I don't want that in a film about Black Panther. I don't want that in there. Again, I don't think anyone wants politics, modern American politics, being put into the MCU. I don't think anyone really wants to see that. And so it's literally, as that speech was being said, I said, oh Lord, like, and my wife had to hit me because she was like, shut up, I'm trying to watch it. But I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is totally, oh my goodness, I just did not like it at all. Tinfoil Hat, what's up? Tinfoil Hat, welcome back. Trevor Toon says, hell to everybody who is in the chat. Hello to everyone indeed. Trevor Toon, help. Hello. Trevor Toon's having some. I love it. Maybe it says, I'm not on Patreon. Okay. Does that mean you're not on it, or you don't support it? Let me know. Greta says, what exactly is Patreon? Just curious. So basically Patreon, it's like it sounds. Basically, people become patrons of you. So they make a pledge to give $1 a month, $2 a month, $5 a month. And for every tier, which is what they're called, so like 1, 2, and 5, let's say those are the tiers, you get something. So if you pledge $1 a month, it could just be in every video at the very end, your names are put on the screen. If you spend a little bit more, maybe you get extra content. Maybe you get like a podcast, or you get, you just get something extra. Maybe you get put in for a raffle or things like that. And then if you pay like the highest number, then you get all of that, every time you go up in a tier, you get everything in the previous tier plus some more. So that's what that is. So let's see. C-Dog, what is up, C-Dog? What's up, man babies and woman babies? Yes, we're all here. Donald Hudson says Patreon. Yes, well, thank you for that feedback, Donald Hudson. I appreciate that. Navy says must be an online service for Patriots. Tinfoil Hat says, will they not let you super chat on here yet? No, because I have reached the threshold, but yeah, as I'm sure some of you may know, the way YouTube works now is once you hit the threshold, you have to it has to be reviewed, and so I'm currently under review, and they say it takes up to sometimes. They said I should know within a week. That's what the standard message said. Now, I don't know if that's going to be true or not, because as you all know, YouTube is not very good to their creators. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, no super chats yet. And also never feel obliged to send a super chat because I'm going to read every comment anyway. Yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. Tina says, Patreon, maybe, LOL, you'd have tiers and then offer something in return no matter how small. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I knew that would be, but again, I wanted to hear it from y'all, since y'all are like the hardcore people, the ones who are on the streams for 3.5 hours every single time I do that. Y'all are the ones I wanted to ask, because y'all are the ones I trust the most to be able to give me, good, insightful feedback. So maybe. Okay. I appreciate that feedback. Let's see. Jeffrey Toon says, I don't really want to pressure you, Odin, into something you are not comfortable with Patreon. Yeah. So again, don't think of it as pressuring me. It's just that if there's something else that you think I could give, I mean, because obviously there are so many other things that I could do, but if you're in a position where you think, or if you think that something like an exclusive podcast or an exclusive Google Hangout, or I mean, obviously I'm not big enough to really offer exclusive Google Hangout, because we're essentially doing that now already. But yeah, I mean, if there's anything that you think, I mean, that's why, if anything, I would only do like $1 a month, and then I could offer like an exclusive podcast or something like that. So that way, I don't know. It's just, again, someone suggested it in another chat. That's the only reason why I'm bringing it up, because I was like, I wonder how many people actually feel this way. Because if a lot of people want that, then I can definitely try and put something together, because I think it'd be cool. I really do think it would be cool. And well, man, we're crashing, guys. We're down to 13 people. That's not good. Don Hudson says, not a Patreon, but I think about it. If you got one, okay, awesome. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. 70 says, the late Valkyries checking in. I was taking souls to Valhalla. Well, thank you very much, my Valkyrie. Sea Dog says, I'm back over here at my buddy's house again, watching the kids. We were watching Rogue One again. Well, again, I'm glad that you watched the film. I'm not a huge fan of the film, but I do appreciate that. Let's see. Also, let me make sure. Let me make sure that I'm still live, because I saw that the numbers were going down. And I know that I was tweeted out by one of my Valkyries, so let me just double check that. All right, cool. So Stephanie just says she was here. Awesome. I was just making sure, because I was like, I mean, I'm totally fine if people can't stay around, but normally I just wasn't expecting that. So sorry, guys. Anyway, we're back. But yeah, Rogue One. I'm glad that you like Rogue One. I was not a huge fan of Rogue One, but it was definitely better than The Last Jedi. Trevor June says, I think you need to have you have to have so many total views or subs before Super Chat is available. Exactly. No, so basically, I've met all the criteria to be monetized, but I need to be reviewed. So basically, they're reviewing my channel, making sure that I haven't gone against the community standards, which I haven't, because the things that have been copyrighted, that's already been taken care of. Those were all my trailer reactions. There was already copyright claims on those. And in fact, one of my live streams has been copyrighted because I played the song from the Goonies. If y'all remember that was actually copyrighted. So that's why that is monetized for them now. But yeah, they're reviewing it, and once it gets approved, which I hope it will, I don't think I have any content on here that's controversial or not, that wouldn't fit the community standards. So yeah, so hopefully that happens soon, because I think it'd be cool. It'd be extra bonus, I feel. And also too, as soon as that happens, I can start offering prizes for digital cookies, and I really want to do that. That's like the one thing I really want to do. Navy says, Odin, you mean Mara Jade started off as a bad guy and then had a sex change and became good? Now that Kathleen Kennedy would definitely approve. Yeah, if Mara Jade was a transsexual, that character would already have a trilogy in their name. You're absolutely right about that. 70B puts the alien symbol. Is Alien in the chat? Alien, are you here? You are always around. Tina says, visually it's beautiful, then hit a wall, didn't recover. Oh, was that her in Suicide Squad? Oh, talking about Valerian in the City of Thousand Planets. All right, good to hear that. That's what happens when a trailer making company edits your movie. Sounds like it. Tina also says, Suicide Squad was so bad, my teenage nephew said he turned it off 30 minutes in. He knows a great movie from a lousy one. Damn. Yeah, that is bad. When teenagers are turning off your film 30 minutes in, that is not good at all. So yeah, thanks for letting. Yeah, Suicide Squad was not a very good film. Mech says, if you like the Thrawn trilogy, I'd also recommend the Dark Empire trilogy of comic books. It follows the Thrawn trilogy and marks the rebirth of Emperor Palpatine. So yeah, I'm not going to write that down quite yet because I need to jump into those books first before I add any more books to it, but I do always appreciate your shouts. So thank you very much for that. Don Hudson says, Kylo Ren, order talk. Sea-Dog says, this is now a no, The Last Jedi household. I have a 2-year-old and 6-year-old joining the cause. Boycott Star Wars. Absolutely. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Navy says Adam Driver would be great in a Scorsese film. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. I think that Scorsese could do really great work with Adam Driver for sure. Trevor June says, as long as Ruin Johnson doesn't get his hands on any more Star Wars characters, I'd be okay-ish, although I can no longer trust Lucasfilm. Yeah, so again, if they get someone else in charge, if they get someone who loves Star Wars, who loves the franchise, who loves the fans, then I would be in a much better position to want them to do stories on the EU, on the extended universe. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Super says, Adam Driver is great. I absolutely hate that he was on that trash Fire Girls. Down with Lena Dunham. I totally agree with that. Lena Dunham is just, I mean, just some of the things that she has said, I mean, are just disgusting. On just a personal level, some of the things that she has said out loud in public are disgusting. There's no other better way to describe it. And then the show itself is disgusting too. And some people, this is going back to the Twilight comment before, you know how I've read Twilight so that I could, so I could destroy it. Same thing with Girls. I watched the entire first and second season of Girls so that I could say, no, I've watched both seasons, never laughed once, and it was cringeworthy. It was bad. It was awful. Yeah, Lena Dunham is just awful. There are so many words that can be used to describe Lena Dunham, but yeah, total awful. And I'm so sad that Adam Driver was on that show. But I will say this: the only chuckle that show gave to me was one thing that was said by Adam Driver, and it was an episode that Lena Dunham did not write. So I don't know how much that's worth, but I think that's worth a lot personally. Cyborg Man, what is up, Cyborg Man? Welcome to the chat. He says, I don't like how they did Luke in episode 8. I think a lot of people are mad about that. I don't like how they did him in episode 7 because I think that he should have had a more prominent role in episode 7 so we could have gotten the big 3 back on screen just one more time before Han's inevitable death. I think that was going to happen no matter what. And yeah, I don't think they did a good job either, Cyborg Man. Blake Moore says, saw TED Talk with Adam Driver, major respect, did not watch Girls. Don't watch Girls. It's garbage. I can tell you, I've seen 2 seasons. It's total garbage and it's not worth it. But Adam Driver's TED Talk, definitely worth watching. Go watch that instead, for sure. Navy says, people you still don't think Jar Jar is behind everything. I think Jar Jar is. I think Darth Jar Jar is going to be the secret reveal, and I'm going to mark out in the theater. Like, again, if Darth Jar Jar happens, I will probably scream in the theater with excitement and joy and giddiness, and it will be amazing. So I would love that. Cyborg says, what can they do for episode 9? It's a dead end. Yeah, I agree with you. So basically, J.J. Abrams set up a lot of really cool things in episode 7. Not perfect, but still a lot of really cool plot points that were then destroyed and dismantled or subverted. There was actually someone who commented in one of my videos who actually is very respectful. So he says, I disagree with you, and I'd like to share with you my opinions why. Just let me know if I could, or how I can reach out to you. And so I said, yeah, just go right ahead. And he listed out like 7 different points, but each one was respectful. I didn't agree with any of the points, but he was very respectful. And so I responded back to him. And that's definitely one of the things he said. He liked it because it subverted expectations. And I made the point to him saying, well, subversion is not always a good thing, especially within a giant franchise where you're literally subverting every plot point that was presented by the first director, presented by J.J. Abrams in episode 7. That's not how you make a coherent story. You don't say, here's where we're going. Episode 8 says, no, we're going to go this way, but then we're not going to be clear on where we're going. And then episode 9 is going to be like, oh, we're back on track again. Like, it's like the best explanation, which I've said a few times. The best explanation for this trilogy is that it's essentially a bunch of films that have schizophrenia, where they're just all over the place, and it just doesn't make any sense at all. Cyberman says they mean Ben as in they don't know Obi-Wan Ben. Okay. So, okay, I got you. So you're talking about saying why do they use the name Ben? They didn't know Ben Kenobi very well because they didn't have a lot of interaction with him in the original trilogy. Okay, I understand that point then. Yeah, I think yeah. Okay, that's a better. Yeah, that makes more sense. Thank you for that clarification, Cyborg Man. Cyborg Man says Leia and Han knew Ben Kenobi for one day. Yes, absolutely. Fair point. Mech says Jeffrey Toon is talking about that in the EU, Luke Skywalker's son was named Ben, not Han and Leia's. Okay, awesome. Thank you for that clarification. Jeffrey June says, Mara Jade Mara Jade, an actual strong female character, so KK hates her. KK is not right in the head. Yeah, exactly. So when you have an actual well-established strong female character, not good enough. And if they even do go in that direction, they're going to screw with her in some way that's going to make her not a strong female character. Mech says the Aang Tai monks were a group of Force users that were contemporaries of the Sith and Jedi. The monks kept to themselves, but they were powerful enough that neither the Sith or Jedi screwed with them. They also had some exclusive powers and abilities that neither the Jedi or Sith could touch, including space and time manipulation. Well, that sounds awesome. I want to be, and let me know how to pronounce this, I want to be an Aang Tai monk. Let me be that. I am an Aang Tai monk because that sounds awesome. And also sounds like my personality because I would very much be a monk if I was not married. Don Hudson says, I would have loved a series done with Mara Jade. I think a lot of people would. Tina says, I'm having YouTube issues. It keeps signing me out of my Chromebook. I'm on my iPhone right now. Hope this works. Well, you just came through. I'm really sorry you're having computer issues. I have a friend that has a Chromebook too, and he loves it for a lot of reasons, but also it definitely craps out sometimes too. So I understand that. So I hope you can keep on joining us, Tina. So yeah, whatever if you're having issues and you really can't stay on and you have other things to do, hey, again, I totally respect that. But thanks for trying to stick it out, and thanks for trying to come up with different ways to stay. Let's see. 70 says, Tom Hardy, Taboo, please finish the story. Yeah, I'd never seen Taboo, but Tom Hardy is indeed fantastic. She is Tom Hardy. He is amazing. 70B says, puppies are mad. Yeah, they were really mad. I'm petting Willow right now. They've calmed down a little bit. They were fighting over a sock, and when they fight over things, sometimes they get pretty nasty. Cyborg Man said it was called Silence. Super says, poor doggy, allergic to peanut butter. Yeah, no, it's really sad. C-Dog says, how is Rogue One so good when The Last Jedi is such crap? Well, again, I don't think Rogue One is that great personally, but I think it has everything to do with the director and the writer and the fact that Kathleen Kennedy may not have had much of a hand in that project since it was not one of the main films. I have a feeling that she said, yeah, I'll give you more freedom since this is kind of a one-off. And that might be why it did it. That might be why it was a better film. Mex says, your puppy has my sympathy with the peanut butter allergy. I'm also allergic to nuts and all nut products, and I can totally sympathize. Yeah, it has to suck. I have kids over the summer who are allergic to nuts, and I feel bad for them because, yeah, I mean, that's why, in fact, our camp is a nut-free camp, and it's a nut-free kitchen that we have. And so they use Wonder Butter, which it doesn't look right. So I feel bad for the kids that eat it because, yeah, I really wish that they could. Jeffrey Toon just wants to say Ruin Johnson. Somebody B says, fun fact, I'm allergic to nuts. Insert joke here. If you mean nutty people who are crazy, then I think all of us are allergic to them. Jeffrey Toon says, and you might want to stay away from Lucasfilm then. Jeffrey Toon says, has any supermodel ever been a talented actress? Not off the top of my head. Jeffrey Toon says, I called him Ruin. Don Huzza says, the one that shall not be named. Navy says, what alike the Black Panther is the world of... What I like about the Black Panther. Okay, what you like that I'm assuming you meant. What you like about the Black Panther is the world of Wakanda. I think Wakanda is pretty cool. I definitely think that's really cool. I like the technology of Wakanda a lot. So I agree with you there. Don Hudson says, Lord Ruin Mort. He who should not be named. Damocles, what is up? Sword of Damocles, welcome. Hello, you wonderful people in the chat, and to the glorious sir behind the mic. Well, thank you, Damocles. Welcome. The chat's always great to see you here. Jefferson says years back they could put politics into film TV series, but it was so much more subtle and it didn't offend people. Yeah, exactly. So they definitely did. I mean, because again, I'm not trying to say that film has always been politic free. It just used to be, as you said, a lot more subtle, but also we were not nearly as polarized as we once were. Again, there's always been divisions, but we've never been as polarized as we are now. And so that's why when you put totally obvious politicking into films, it's just not good. I mean, it's just terrible. Deborah Toon says, forgot about Xerox. Yeah, that's Jeff Cotto's word, Xerox Johnson. Deborah Toon says, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I love that so much. Sammy V says, oh, I know, it's sad. Navy says, all right, guys, I have an appointment with my bed. See you around. Peace out. Well, Navy, have a good night's sleep. Thank you for joining us for as long as you did. Lost Soldier, what's hello, Newman. Hello, Newman. What's up, Lost Soldier? Welcome back. He says, Odin, did you root for Brazil today? So for anyone that doesn't know, there's an inside joke with the chat where every team I cheer for loses because my teams were Germany and Iceland in the World Cup, and they both lost. But no, so far I've actually not been cheering for any teams. I've just been enjoying it. I've been silently rooting for the underdog. So I guess you can say Belgium was technically the underdog today, though I think a lot of people would say that they're probably one of the best teams in the tournament still. But let's just say I'll be cheering for Russia tomorrow. Jeffertine says, I'm allergic to dogs, apparently, but it just affects my asthma. I'm not giving up on dogs. Yes, absolutely. I'm just so happy I'm not allergic to dogs because that would kill me. I do have like a slight, even though my test came back negative, I do have a slight cat allergy, but it's mostly because when my allergies are acting up, the dander just adds to it, just like with you. With dogs. And so, yeah, I'm glad that it's just that. Gizmo says, I'm going to head out soon. I've got tickets to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp tonight. Well, awesome, Gizmo. When you see it, please tweet me out. Let me know what you thought about it. I would love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, it's really good. I hope you like it a lot because I actually really liked it. Tina says, only do Patreon with 3 channels because I'm very particular. I consider yours if you did one. Oh, well, thank you very much. I'd appreciate that. Yeah, again, I would do a max of 3 tiers. I'd probably only do 2 tiers, to be honest, because at least for a start, because I don't know what people want. And so again, if y'all have suggestions, if you want me to do Patreon, just put Patreon yes, Patreon no. And if you put Patreon yes, then also include something that you would maybe like to see, something that you think would be worth the patronage, would be worth giving of that money. Let me know, because I would definitely appreciate that. Trevor Toon says, damn straight. Gizmo says, thanks, peeps. I heard there's 2 end credit scenes that I stick around for. Yes. So if you haven't left yet, Gizmo, I know we're about we're less than 20 minutes behind at this point. There are 2 credit scenes. So there's a mid-credit scene and then there's an end credit scene. I would stick around for both, but the mid-credit scene is definitely, I feel like, the most impactful, but both are still important. C-Dog says, unsubscribe for not liking Rogue One. This is the reason why we can't have nice things. Well, I'm sorry, man. Again, Rogue One is a film I want to see again. I've only seen it once, and I just was not a fan. So I'm willing to see it one more time. I mean, it is on Netflix, so it's very easy to watch. So it's definitely one that's been on my radar to watch again. So maybe I'll have a different view my second viewing. But yeah, I was not a fan. I'm sorry, Gizmo. Forgive me, Gizmo. Evertune says, why do people think Jared Leto's Joker was good? Yes, yes, they do exist, and I don't understand it either. I love Jared Leto. I think he's great. And it's not necessarily him. I think the direction was the problem, because if he had done that for me, I would have said, what are you doing? This is not good. Like, as a director, if I was the one directing that scene, I would have said, okay, there's some problems, and here's some things that we can address. And also, too, like the makeup and everything, it just didn't work. Like, tonally, it just did not work. And yeah, so I agree with you. I didn't like it either, and I don't know why there are people out there that actually love it. There are people out there who think Jared Leto's Joker is better than Heath Ledger's Joker, which to me is blasphemy, personally. I don't understand that. Donald Hudson says, gonna call it a night, my motley crew. Oh, you, Donald. Well, anyway, thanks for joining us for as long as you did, Donald. I always appreciate you in the chat. You rock, good sir. Greta says, I hate watching all of Girls to see how SJW Lena Dunham could make it, but Adam Driver was the only one that seemed genuine and enjoyed watching him on screen. I totally agree with you. I mean, Girls is just a total hot mess. To me, the part that got me in season 1 was they do a joke at an abortion clinic. And I just was like, no matter where you stand on the politics of that, which we're not going to get into here, the fact that they did that is just distasteful. I think anyone with a conscience would say, no, you probably shouldn't make a joke at this place. That's not a good idea. That's not a good thing to do. But yeah, totally agree with you, Greta. He's the only good part of that series. C-Dog says, I'm not letting this one go, Odin. How many times have you watched? Well, as I said, 1 time, so I'm willing to watch it again. For you, C-Dog, I'm willing to watch it again and come back to you. Somebody says, Lena Dunham is ew. Yes, she is totally ew. She is ew. Lost Soldier says 9 is going to be an empty box. No mystery there. Yeah, pretty much. Like, they might try and do a lot of things with it, but I can't see where they're going to take it that would make me actually want to go see it and pay for it, of all things. Democles says, oh, Darth Jar Jar, the mind boggles with the opportunities, messing up the announcers, the loudspeakers. Stop there. There are so many things that could happen. Super says, Jared Leto was a jerk too while he was filming. His version of method acting is ridiculous. Yeah, I heard a lot of stories about that too. And I just don't think that's productive, and I don't think it's healthy either. Gizmo, good night. Well, Gizmo, I hope you enjoy the movie. Let me know what you thought about it, please. So he says it's good. One butter. It is good. Oh, it is good. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. And again, it doesn't look very tasty, but I'm glad to hear that you like it. All right, good. I don't feel as bad for my kids then. Let's see. Mex says, I'm not certain on the pronunciation, but I think it's closer to Engti. Okay, well, then I'm an Engti monk. I appreciate that. Engti. Tina says, I think I'm back. I cleaned out my cache for the last 24 hours. I've never had that happen before, but you're right about Chromebooks. I like mine when it does what it's supposed to do. Yeah, it does when it does what it's supposed to do. It's great. It works fine. It's very, very fast. Connects to the internet, all those other things. But when it doesn't work, it's frustrating because you're like, I mean, this is what you're built for. Why aren't you working? It just doesn't make any sense. C-Dog says, there is a 3-tier attack in Rogue One. Explain yourself. And the Darth Vader scene, Odin, please turn your Star Wars fandom at the door. Thanks. I mean, again, there are things I like in Rogue One. I'm not saying that it's garbage. I'm not saying I don't like anything about it. But I will say that the Darth Vader scene, though it is cool and I love it, it felt so forced. In fact, you know how they were dealing with all those reshoots? That was definitely one of the reshoots they did. And that is something that they definitely added in because they realized we need something that everyone's going to talk about. Oh, let's add this in. And again, I love it. I think it's great, but yeah, I just don't know. Lost Soldier says, Odin, great video today. Well, thank you very much. It was a little bit different because normally I do the screen capture and I've lately been putting my my video in the corner. And I just thought that it would have been good. It would be good just to talk just, one-on-one, I guess you could say, without reading off of any articles, with just, speaking from the heart, because it is an issue that I'm very passionate about. And I got a lot of comments in the last video I made talking about the news. And I felt like I wanted to clarify certain points, but also to add and to elaborate on certain points as well. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I got your message, Lost Soldier. So thank you very much for that. Mex says, past films handle politics more subtly and competently by keeping it in the background or using it as a part of the film's theme instead of bludgeoning the audience like a caveman with it. Exactly right. I mean, hell, George Lucas even admitted to making one of his characters based off of George W. Bush. But guess what? No one, unless they had heard that, would have said, oh, that's George W. Bush. Like, that is how you do subtle. Like, a director can say they're influenced by certain people, but if we only can know that by them telling us that, that is someone doing it right. If we can know that without them telling us that, then it's not being subtle and should not be in the film. Greta says, I think some forms of method acting work, but what Jared Leto did was uncalled for and disgusting. Absolutely agree with you there. Again, there is, as you said, there's some forms of that method acting that work. But also too, I feel like the famous actors that we have in Hollywood right now who are known for method acting sometimes get into some trouble. So Jimmy says Rogue once. Yep, I saw Rogue once. Jeffrey Toon says Patreon. Yes, dancing in your Chewy one. Oh my goodness, that's what I should offer. Like once a month, I do a special live stream just to my patrons. I give them the link, and then they can see me dancing in a Chewbacca onesie. No, okay, guys. Here's something I might be able to consider if for the $5 a month. I think that's the highest I'm going to go. So for a $5 a month tier, how about this? I put a poll in my Patreon for my $5 pledging only. And it's different locations that I could dance in my Chewbacca onesie at. And y'all get to vote on it. And then once a month, I go to whatever location y'all vote on, and I dance in my Chewbacca onesie, and then you get to see it. That's not the only thing I'd offer $5 a month patrons, but that might be one of the things. Let me know. Does that sound like something that you would be interested in? Let me know, because Jeffrey Toon, that's a fantastic idea. Since so many people love the Chewbacca onesie, I think there's something to that. I love that. I love that so much. Lost Soldier says Rogue One was okay. Even goodish to the last 5 minutes. Then it was amazing. Yeah. As I said, I feel like the end of the film is really good. The rest of the film is okay, which is why the whole film in the end is just okay. One scene does not make up for the rest of the film, though. Again, I love that scene. Darth Vader kicks ass and it's awesome. But that doesn't make up for the rest of the film, just in my own opinion. C-Dog says you didn't like the K2SO. I loved K2SO. That's a droid done right. I mean, I'm sad that we don't have K2SO anymore, but we still technically have L337 in the Millennium Flamingo. I mean, I'm sorry. I love K2SO, and I love the fact that I'm blanking on his name right now, but he played Wash in Firefly. The fact that that actor did that voice too made me love that character even more. I loved K2SO. Again, there are things I love about Rogue One, but it doesn't change there's some narrative problems with it. Some of the acting isn't perfect, and some of the character motivations aren't perfect either. So again, I want to watch it again. I'm willing to watch it again just for you, Sea-Dog, but I'm not a huge fan of the entire film. Again, I love certain parts. Don't like the whole film, though. Jeffrey Toon says, I think they were playing on what Heath Ledger did, but it was an epic fail. HL just kept it to Heath Ledger just kept himself. All right, well, Jeffrey Toon, thank you for talking about that. So I actually did. So everyone talked about Heath Ledger. Like, I know that everyone was like attacking Jeremy for this. Heath Ledger, I actually know probably a hell of a lot more about Heath Ledger and that entire situation than a lot of other people. Why do I say that? It's because I took a class on stardom when I was in college, and the project we had to do was a 20 to 25 page paper on one star of our choosing. My favorite actor of the time was still Heath Ledger. To this day, still one of my top 5 favorite actors of all time, even though his filmography is not nearly as big as some others. And it's because of the fact that he did dive himself into roles just completely. But because of that, I read several books about him, several articles about what happened. And so when people talk about that, he did not commit suicide. He did not commit suicide. Like, there is no evidence to suggest that he committed suicide. This is a man who got so caught up in method acting, like Greta was talking about. His form of method acting caused him to have sleep problems because when he would get off of set, he could not turn off his brain. So basically, think of it like someone like me who has ADD, where your brain's constantly firing. His method acting, he got so caught up in the characters that he could not get the character out of his head. He could not shut off his mind at night. So what did he start doing? And this happened very early on in his career. So much, like, it was far earlier than The Dark Knight. He started taking sleeping pills a lot before, I'm tripping on my words here, but much earlier than The Dark Knight. So basically what happened was he started taking them and they worked for a while. But then over time, just like what sleeping pills do, like any medication does, they stop working. So he has to take more so that he can get to sleep. And so what happened that night was, just as the autopsy showed, an accidental overdose because he probably had a very rough night on set. His brain could not turn off. And so therefore he took an extra sleeping pill to try and get to sleep. And that's why he had an accidental overdose. So again, he did not kill himself. It was not a suicide. And so that's why when anyone says things like that, I say to myself, no, you have no idea what you're talking about. He started taking sleeping pills like very early on in his career because of his style of acting. And if you want to talk about roles that's going to mess somebody up, look up this film called Candy. Candy, to me, is probably even more intense of a role than the Joker was. I'm just going to be honest. If any role messed him up, it's the role that he played in Candy. But even then, it has so much more to do with the fact that he was a method actor who could not turn off his brain. That's why he took sleeping pills long before Dark Knight. And by the time of The Dark Knight, he was taking too many sleeping pills, probably more sleeping pills than he should have, because they just weren't working. They just weren't working anymore because he had taken them for so long and he accidentally overdosed. So just a little factoid on that. So if anyone else is a Heath Ledger fan, I mean, I love him. I love all of his films. And it's my goal one day to watch every single film that he's been in, but it's really hard to sometimes because he was in. So one of my dogs ripped up one of my pillows. So give me 1 second, guys. What are you doing? You just, guys. Look at this. Look at this. This is why you should not let puppies be a part of a live stream. River, was this you? Somebody tells me that this was you. So you know what? Y'all out of the live stream. You're all done. Get out. Get out. Oh, my goodness gracious, guys. Oh, I'm going to have to clean that up later. Man, we had possible poo one episode, and now we have them ripping up my furniture. Oh, man. Dogs, I love them so much, but sometimes they drive me crazy. But yeah, anyway, just a little information on Heath Ledger. Thought y'all might be interested. Walzer says, movie hop Odin, I'll see you in line for anything else. Yeah. I agree. Blakemore says, episode 9 needs to be Adam Driver centric, not Rey, to make it tolerable. I think if they give Kylo to the meat of the movie with Luke, he can push it forward more than any other character. I agree. I think the strongest character that they have at this point, and it's not saying much because there is a lot of problems with Kylo's character, thanks to what what Rian Johnson did with his character in The Last Jedi. But I think there's still enough there where they can redeem his character a bit. But they have a lot of work to do. I think adding in Luke could possibly help with that. But yeah, definitely take the story away from Rey, because they need to fix. Rey is just an entire mess of a character for sure. C-Dog says, my 3 digital cookies means a little less knowing you hated Rogue One. I'm just messing around, but you're still a man, baby. C-Dog, man, don't be hating, man. C-Dog, you're my dog. C-Dog, you're my dog. I love you, man. Max says, I love that final Darth Vader scene in Rogue One 2, but it contradicts the opening text crawl in Star Wars 4. Then again, Rogue One and Solo contradict the Han Solo trilogy in the EU anyway. Very good point. Jason Clark, what is up, Jason Clark? Welcome to the chat. He says, hey, what's up, bud? Just got on the channel. What are you talking about? We're talking about pretty much anything right now. We're talking about Star Wars. We talked about Heath Ledger a few seconds ago. So at this point, though, we're not too far behind. I'm about 8 minutes behind. So I've caught up pretty well. Jeffrey Toon says, I liked A.C. Crispin's Solo trilogy. Is that a book series? Because I can't add anything, but I always appreciate the shouts. C-Dog says, a man baby with no taste. I think you are a closet supporter of The Last Jedi. Have you seen my channel lately? Does it look like I'm supporting of The Last Jedi? Jason Clark says, thanks. Yeah, you are welcome here, Jason Clark. Everyone's welcome here. Damocles says, no forest. Remember the Bigfoot hunters and their tranquilizer darts. Oh, you mean for me? Oh, Damocles. Damocles, digital cookie for you, sir. Yes, absolutely. Digital cookie for the Damocles. Jeffrey Toon says, Chewy onesie dancing during mass. Okay, so I can't do that for many different reasons. Again, there's going to be some limitations on the places that y'all can suggest. So mass will not be one of the places that I will dance in a Chewbacca onesie, but there are so many in public. Yes. In other public places, I would, for you guys. So Tina says, I've been doing $1 tiers on the 3 I donate to, but good grief, if you do that at $5, you may have my money. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Again, that would be one thing of like, I would do multiple things for anyone that did $5 for sure. But that would definitely be one. That would be a once a month thing. Jason Clark says, Steph, thanks for the welcome. Yes, you are more than welcome here. And Steph is great. Glad that you can meet everyone. And I'm glad everyone is saying hello to you. We are very, 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 very positive chat here. Playmore says, I wish I could do Patreon. Had some major financial life setbacks the last couple of years. Had to reboot my life, but would support you monetarily if I could. Well, again, I'm not going to ask for anyone's money. And again, if I do it, it's going to be me offering stuff. So it's not you giving me money. It's you, essentially paying for extra content. That's essentially what it's going to be. It's me giving extra content that I, couldn't really do otherwise unless I had, more of an incentive to do so. And so, yeah, no problem at all. Just you watching to me is all I really want. It's just you watching, talking, chatting, everything that you've been doing. That's all I want. That's all I need, because that is where the fun happens. So yeah, don't worry about it. I appreciate that, Blakemore, though. C-Dog says, Admiral Radis, I'm not letting this go. C-Dog, let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Lost Soldier says, Odin Arg, don't remind me that L3 has now been in every film, but the Millennium Flamingo almost shot my water on my nose. Well, if you've never heard that before, that was actually an expression that was coined by Ethan Van Sciver, and I love it because it's so true. It really is a Millennium Flamingo now. Blakemore says, Alan Tudyk, thank you. I love Alan Tudyk. He's fantastic. He's also one of the voices in Wreck-It Ralph, and I couldn't believe that he played King Candy, I think it was the character's name. I could not believe that was him. But yeah, he was fantastic. I love his voice acting work. Cyborg Man says, American Psycho is a really strange movie. It is a really strange movie, but it's also really good too. Especially when they are talking about the cards. I love that. I don't know why. Greta says, I would have loved to have taken a Stardom college class. Oh my goodness, Greta, you would have loved this class. Our teacher, our professor, she was fantastic. She was awesome. Every class was just fun because we would just talk about actors. We would talk about movies, and it was great. If I don't have a whole lot of positive experiences from my undergrad for various reasons, but that class was definitely, teacher in particular, was definitely at the top for sure. Cyberman says it really has a lot of genres, even a slight bit of comedy, which I found weird at times. Yeah, and I think if you go in knowing it's a dark, because essentially what it is, American Psycho is a dark comedy, and if you know that going in, I think you'll appreciate the film a heck of a lot more. Tina says, my late mom saw an interview with him while he was making Dark Knight, and she said she was so concerned. She started praying for him every night. It was so tragic for him. Absolutely. I mean, he was definitely He was definitely tired. I mean, you could just tell because the characters were just, everything he was doing was keeping him up at night. Tina says, I think Judy Garland accidentally overdosed as well. Yeah, I don't know as much about Judy Garland. I will tell you, Greta will probably be able to tell us a little bit more, but yeah. Greta says he definitely didn't commit suicide. He had a young daughter and was in the middle of making a movie. Exactly. And as I said before, he, again, I already explained that why he definitely didn't commit suicide. Just the evidence isn't there to suggest it. Sea-Dog says 3 devils. Supers, Mech says, didn't Heath Ledger also suffer from lack of communication between his healthcare providers and prescribers that resulted in his accidental overdose? That very well might be to it. Again, it's been a long time since I did that research, but all I do know is that it was definitely an accidental overdose, and it had to do with the fact that I feel like that has more bearing on Michael Jackson's overdose, like just with the doctor in that case being negligent in the giving of his medications. I don't think it was the same for Heath Ledger, but I think that could have been a part of it for sure. And then Greta, confirms, saying Judy was an accident as well. Drugs messed her up. Yeah, and guess what? The whole Judy Garland story is even more messed up because the way that she got addicted to drugs was when she started doing as early as Wizard of Oz. I mean, just as very early on in her career, because in those movie musicals, they would take so many takes to get the right take because everything was so complicated. They would always film late into the night. And so what they would do is they would give their actors, especially their younger actors, drugs to keep them up, to keep them awake. And then when they left, they had to be given drugs to be put back down again. And you can imagine if you're doing that over and over again, you will soon become very quickly addicted. So yeah, the Judy Garland story is very, very sad because essentially the studios killed her. The studios are what got her addicted to drugs. Jason Clark says, good point, Greta. No suicide for sure. He had everything right going for him. And again, he was not, as I said, he was having sleep issues. That was his main problem. Mech says, do you need to let your puppy out? Yep. Had to leave my puppies out. Jefferson says the problem was HL took his pills with a drink. I don't drink anymore because I have to take 10 pills a day. Ooh, man. Yeah, that's not fun. And that will definitely also mess you up as well. Jason Clark says back in the 30s and 40s, it was nothing for actors and actresses to consume large amounts of amphetamines. It was a part of their daily diet. Yep, just talked about that, and it's truly tragic. Let's see. Lost Soldier says packing up for my next trip, heading to Alaska tomorrow morning. We'll still be watching while I'm out there. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that, and hope you have fun in Alaska. I've been in Alaska before, and it's awesome. It's really, really cool. So have fun on that trip, and thanks for joining us, Lost Soldier. And I hope to see you tomorrow and Sunday as well. And just again, if you can't make it, if your connection's not working, don't worry about it, man. But I still appreciate it nonetheless, especially with the time difference. Cyborgman says, did you see Jared Leto in Dallas Buyers Club? I did. He was awesome in Dallas Buyers Club. I loved Dallas Buyers Club. It was a very, very good film for sure. And he was great in it. Damocles says, haha, yes. Everyone's talking to each other. Stephanie B says, Odin the Humble. Well, thank you very much. I always appreciate Stephanie, come on. You're awesome. Lost Soldier says, I'm looking forward to seeing it. What's it? Mech says, if you're reading this, you're still not caught up with the chat and you're overdue for a pencil beard. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. I'm overdue for how about a magic trick? Talking about Heath Ledger. How about a magic trick? Jason Carr says, I love your channel because you're just a real dude. You speak the truth, and that's what I appreciate. We need more guys like you in this world for sure. Sorry, I meant in this world. No, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And it always means so much to me, not just for comments like that, but also just the fact that you're watching me, the fact that you're spending this time with me. It's great. So thank you so much. Again, I wouldn't be here without y'all. I would not be here or have a channel unless other people were watching. It would just be me talking to myself, talking to a camera. And so y'all are what make this happen. And I'm just so glad that there are other common sense people in the world who are also real people who speak the truth. And it's not just me. I'm just someone who is recording themselves doing it. And there are so many other people, so many other voices, especially within this chat itself right now, who want to do the same, who are thinking about doing the same. And it's just awesome. This community is fantastic. So thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Jeffrey Toon says, have you seen Tucker Dale versus Evil? Alan Tudyk is in that. I know he's in that. I have not seen it yet, but I want to because he's in it. Blake Moore says, gotta go. Grace and peace. Good night. Well, thank you, Blake Moore, for joining us. You have a great night. Sammy says, pencil beard, pencils in the beard. Yes, it is. In fact, you can't even see the other half of it because it's so far in there. C-Dog says, L3 is in the DNA of the Millennium Flamingo. Yep, and it's so sad. 70B says, still no Incasa. Yeah, Alien is still not here, and it is sad. I have caught up with the chat. You were right, 70B. Yeah, because everyone else is talking to each other. So 70B, I am now officially caught up with the chat. So y'all aren't doing y'all's job. But no, guys, seriously, since I have caught up with the chat, I can have a little bit of time just to talk. So yeah, guys, thank y'all so much just for being y'all. And I'm loving this. This is so much fun. And I love doing this. I love doing this every single night or almost every single night. And it's fantastic. So thank y'all so much. Again, I'm not ending it just yet, but I always like to say thank you. I don't think I could say that. I don't think I could ever say that enough. And I mean, it's people like y'all that helped me get to 1,000 subscribers. It's people like y'all that had me thinking about, expanding the channel, about doing more things, because I do feel like there's so many other things that I could be doing. And it's because of y'all that I'm inspired to do that. So I, again, wouldn't be anything without y'all. So thank y'all so much for that. And yeah, so I know that a few people have already given me suggestions and recommendations, but please, if you're someone who does Patreon or someone who knows anything about it, please give me some advice on that. Give me some insight as well, because I'm very new to this. I'm very new to the idea and concept of Patreon as well. And so I want to be able to offer something to people, because I don't want to just, someone was giving me a warning in the last chat when I mentioned it, saying, don't become like those people who give very self-serving rewards. And I don't want that. I want to give something that people are going to want, that people are going to want to donate towards and want to invest in. And so yeah, so give me some suggestions. I would greatly appreciate that. All right, so let's see what is in the chat right now. Sea-Dog says, the Falcon had an SJW essay during the entire original trilogy. That is so depressing. It really is. Like that, I mean, it really makes you think of every other film differently, especially it goes back to when C-3PO says that the ship is speaking in a language or dialect that is quite foreign to him, or is just distinct and different, because now all you can think of after seeing Solo is, oh God, all I can think of is that damn L337's voice, and it's annoying. It's, even though I can't actually hear it yet, because good Lord, could you imagine if they somehow get the Millennium Falcon to start speaking and it's that damn voice from Solo? That would be awful. That would be miserable. And then Tina says, he is caught up. Yes, I am. Damocles says, also congratulations on 1.1K subscribers. Well, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we're growing. We are growing, and it's awesome. And again, it's making me want to do more things. And so thank y'all so much for that. And again, any advice that y'all ever have, I love constructive criticism. I love advice. I'll never be deaf ears to it. And so I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Now, 70 says, hey, did you see I bought a Millennium Falcon for $1? I did see that, and I'm glad that you were able to check to make sure that there was no soy in that product. But yeah, I think a Millennium Falcon for $1 is actually really, really good. That's a really, but also it tells you a lot about what's going on with Star Wars merchandising right now as well. Lost Soldier says, Pencil Beard, yes, I looked over just in time. Yes, we are back. The Pencil Beard is indeed back. Let's see if I can get that. There we go. Got both ends sticking out now. Somebody says, don't go to the store with a pencil beard. Yeah, I know, right? I should definitely not go to the store with a pencil beard. But here's the other thing, too, I could do is I dance in a Chewbacca onesie with 3 pencils in my beard. And that could be an award. That could be one of the awards on Patreon. Maybe there's people that might want to see that. Jason Clark says, has anyone ever watched the movie with Jared Leto where he plays the guy that assassinated John Lennon? No, I have not. What's that movie called? And is it good? Is it worth watching? Should I put it on my list? Jimmy, what's up, Jimmy? Says Solo was entertaining, but it should have been a cartoon. Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate anyone that has a positive aspect or a positive outlook on Solo. Again, I'm not going to attack you if you like Solo. I disagree with you, very much so. But I'm respectful. As long as you're respectful with my opinion of not liking it, I'm going to be respectful of you. And yeah, I mean, I think that story would have been better told as a cartoon, or would have better to have waited for the network to come out and just gone straight to the network, because it was not a movie that should have been put in theaters, which is why it's going to lose $200 million at least. Cyclone YT, what is up, Cyclone YT? Welcome to chat. Hello, my name is Cyclone, and I am new to the channel, and I'm excited to see the live stream Millennium Flamingo. Well, Cyclone, welcome to chat. Glad that you are here. Hope you have fun. We are a very welcoming, fun-loving community. We love to have fun every single night. And yeah, we go for as long as we can. If you've seen previous live streams, or if you've seen just the descriptions of those, we usually go for almost 2.5 hours sometimes, because we just have that much fun. And on the day I hit 1K, we went to 3.5 hours, which is just insane. And I was just full of energy the entire time. So, and that's because y'all are awesome in the chat. So thank you. Lost Source says, Odin, my son wants to sub. Well, awesome. Great. I'm glad that he's liking it. That's awesome. Thank you for that. That would be awesome. Make it a family business. That's awesome. Let's see. Also just says, did you hear that the actress who played L3 never saw Star Wars before and didn't know what a droid was? Yes, I have heard that before. And I think that's freaking hysterical because I mean, it's so what they would do because you have someone who does not love Star Wars, who is the head of the entire studio. So it makes sense that they would hire people who either don't know Star Wars, don't love Star Wars, or have really any knowledge of it whatsoever. It would be like if they cast me in a Mara Jade film, or if they cast me in a Thrawn film. I don't have any knowledge of those characters. I probably shouldn't be the one in there because I won't be able to give my heart to it. Now, I can say if I was cast in a role like that, I would immediately read anything that I knew dealing with Thrawn so that I can get inspiration for my character. Very highly doubt that the actress that played L3 did that, or at least as much as she could have. Sea-Dog says, those Kazans cucked the Falcon on purpose. Yeah. Yep, because now that character, even though the character's dead, the character lives on forever in the Millennium Falcon, and that is sad. Lost Soldier says, hi, son. Wait, that's your son? That's fantastic. Hello, Cyclone. Welcome to the chat. That's awesome. Oh, man, this is fantastic. Hello. Cyclone, hello, Dad. This is really cool. That's awesome. Well, thank y'all both for being here. Jason says, I refuse to see Solo until Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson are removed from Lucasfilm. Yeah, I agree with you. And that's why I paid for a ticket to go see Deadpool 2 instead. And I'm very glad I did because it was a C movie. I mean, Solo was a C movie. There's really no way around it. And yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't think anyone should go see it or pay to see it or pay to see any other Star Wars films until they take care of their house, until they get their house in order. And the best way to do that is by getting rid of the problems. And Kathleen Kennedy is a problem. Rian Johnson's a problem. And yeah, all those people. Jeffrey Toon says, yes, three pencil beard, Chewy onesie, dancing in a public base. Yep. So that is something I would be willing to add. So again, guys, give me y'all's thoughts on Patreon. Give me some ideas. I would greatly appreciate it, guys. Hello, everyone. Hello. Everyone's talking to each other. Those always help me catch up in the chat when y'all are having those conversations with each other. Lost Soldier says, Odin, I'd watch you in a Mara Jade film. You have to wear the Chewy So I will say this, if anyone ever does a fan project and it's meant to be a commentary, a farce, and they need someone to play Chewbacca, I would gladly play Chewbacca. I think it'd be funny if Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers or even Ivan Ortega or any of those channels made a parody film. I would totally volunteer to play Chewbacca and I would wear my Chewbacca onesie and I think it would be hilarious. So next time Jeremy does a chat or Ivan Ortega does a chat, tell them, hey, let's make a film. Odin will be Chewbacca, and let's see what they say, and then get back to me. Jeffrey Toon says, good actors are supposed to research for parts. They don't just turn up and read lines. Exactly. Again, you do the research on the part. If you are a good actor, if you are worth your salt, if you are worth your pay, you will do that research. You will do the character to the best of your ability. You will not just say, oh, I'm just going to do this my way and only my way. It's no, you will do your own spin on it, sure, but it's going to come from a background and a basis on, previous material for sure. Jason Clark says, after I see Last Jedi, I knew that Star Wars is over for me, at least for now. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. And it's yeah, absolutely. Cyclone says, I'm laughing so hard right now. Well, what are you laughing at? Let me know. Is Greta still in the chat? She'd know about researching for a part. Yes, she is. She likes to sit back every now and then because she likes talking more about other she likes talking about other films other than Star Wars. She loves Star Wars, but she likes talking about other things. So yes. So I'm sure she'll pipe in a second. But yeah, she definitely knows about researching for parts. Jeffrey Toon says, don't forget the Wookiee language. I can't do a very good Wookiee, but I think it would work in parody film for sure. Cyclone says, out of all the villains of Star Wars, which is your favorite? Mine is Papa Vader. Yes, very good question. Yeah, I like Darth Vader a lot as a villain. It's a hard question because there's different factors when it comes to villains. If you mean the most badass one, I actually would probably put Darth Maul up there. I'm very sad that his character was very short-lived in just that first film, but he was a badass. The double-sided lightsaber, I mean, I wanted to know more about that character. I mean, again, don't get me wrong, I love Darth Vader, but I've always seen him, since he did have that turn at the very end, as not really a villain, but kind of an anti-hero or at least a mixture of both. And so that's why if you're just going for like hard villains, I like him. And then I do like Palpatine. I do think Palpatine is a bit of a farce sometimes, but I do like it a lot. I mean, just there's so many lines from Palpatine in the prequels that I love. Like, oh my goodness, do it. I probably quote Emperor Palpatine on a daily basis just for that line alone, because anytime I'm telling someone to do something, I always say it in Palpatine's voice, do it. But yeah, I mean, I think Darth Vader is fantastic for sure. Greta says, I'm still here. I haven't had a role big enough to do extensive research, but in my acting class, my teacher encourages us to do research, anything that we don't understand in our scene. Yeah, and also, too, the biggest lesson that I was given, because I've done theater for a while, and I have a little bit of experience with that. So I know that the number one thing that I've been told by a director is if you don't know a line that you're saying, look it up so that way you know what you're talking about. So that way you know the inflection, you know kind of like of what you're saying, because if you read a script and you don't know what half the words mean, that's a problem. And if you don't look those up, especially, you're not going to have any idea what you're saying, and that might actually go a long way. Trevor says, and yes, if you do put another language or anything in the chat like that, I will read it in whatever voice you want me to. Cito says, you missed your chance, Disney just did Spaceballs 2 in December. It was called last year. Yes, absolutely. But you know what? Spaceballs, actually, no, you're wrong, because Spaceballs 2 would have been good. Spaceball 2, The Search for More Money by Mel Brooks, would have actually been an entertaining film that I would have liked to have seen. And but I appreciate the joke still. Let's see. Jason says, I do think that if they bring in Dave Filoni to replace Kathleen Kennedy, Star Wars can be salvaged and saved, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have made that suggestion, and I know that Jeremy has talked about this over at Geeks and Gamers a lot, and that is Dave Filoni is a person that you should have as like the head of the story group, as someone as the head of creative, but I don't think he's ready to be an executive. I don't think he has enough experience to be an executive. So I think that as far as being the president and the executive producer, I don't think that would be the best idea, but I do think him at least being the head of the story group, letting him have full creative control, that would be a good decision. And I think that that would bring in a lot of Star Wars fans. I think that would even bring Jeremy back, to be honest, if they did that. For sure. Greta says, I thought Darth Maul was terrifying in Phantom Menace, which is why I don't like him in Solo. Seeing him speak made him less scary to me. Yeah, I can understand that. I will say this. That was my favorite part of Solo, because even though it made no sense and even though it didn't really work narratively for the story, I did like seeing Darth Vader back on the big screen, especially seeing it was played by the same actor as well. I love that. So I would like to see more Darth Maul, because I really want to see, I just want to see more of that character. I just really want to see more of that character. Mech says, that's why you need to read or listen to Darth Plagueis. I know it's on my list. They explain the reason why Darth Maul played so little of a role in the Sith's grand plan for revenge. Well, I cannot wait to read that. That sounds awesome. Tina says, okay, stupid questions, but how did Rey know Wookiee and she was translating for Luke? And if she spent her life on a desert planet, how did she know how to swim? These are all excellent points and all reasons why there are so many problems with the new trilogy. I mean, again, it really just goes to her being a Mary Sue. She's just good at everything. She's good at the Force. She's good at swimming. She's good at singing. She's good at Wookiee. She's good at tap dancing. Name it. She's going to be good at it because that's her character. Her character is, I'm a female, strong female character who is just good at everything. And that's all you need to know. I mean, literally, you are really just expressing the point of her just being Mary Sue. I mean, you've hit the nail on the head. That makes absolute sense. Again, how does she know Wookiee? You could say, oh, well, there's probably traders. Maybe some Wookiees came through, so she learned it over time. But they don't really explain that, so that doesn't justify it. And yes, she's on a desert planet. How does she know how to swim? Because as someone who deals with kids and also older children, if you never learn how to swim, you don't just naturally learn how. If you've never learned how to swim, you will drown. There are adults who have drowned in still water because they did not learn how to swim. So you make an excellent point, Tina. That's why you're a Valkyrie, and that's why give yourself a digital cookie, Tina. You are fantastic. And then she says, gotta refill my coffee cup, BRB. Well, hopefully she finds out that she got a digital cookie for that comment, because it was fantastic and it was spot on as always, Tina. That is why you're a Valkyrie. That's why you're awesome. Water break. I love water. Cyclone says, I'm a huge Star Wars geek with my dad, Lost Soldier. I also have the games. You might have heard of Star Wars Battlefront. My dad is interested in that game, but I am the real pro. Whoa, man. Lost Soldier, you just got called out by your son. That is great. We are we are family friendly here. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I would love to get into new games. I just don't play any of the new systems, so I'm just so far behind. Yeah, and unfortunately, the only game I could play is Knights of the Old Republic on N64, but it's like really hard to find cartridges for the N64, let alone ones like that. And I can imagine it's probably going to be expensive. I think I looked at it at Amazon once and it was like $200. And one of my friends says, "Oh, you can find it on eBay for cheap," but I don't trust buying N64 cartridges over eBay. I don't trust that they would work 100% of the time. But yeah, that's awesome. And I bet you are the pro. Trevor Toon says, it is so easy to pick faults in The Last Jedi. You are absolutely true. Even, I mean, literally both films you can find the faults in. The difference is that at least the first film gives some very interesting premises to hopefully lead to interesting conclusions. But then that all gets derailed by The Last Jedi. So literally, The Last Jedi not only ruins itself, but also ruins the previous material as well. So you're absolutely right on that. 70 says, yes, I agree with him being the head of a story group. Yes, exactly. Again, I think that's where he deserves to be. I think that he is very creative. I think that he understands the Star Wars universe. He loves the Star Wars universe, and that would be the best place for him. Put someone like a Kevin Feige who knows how to run a business, who knows how to plan ahead, to plan forward. He is a forward-thinking person. That would be the person who is best for the president of Lucasfilm to be the executive producer. I don't think Dave Filoni would fit that role. I think that he should have a key role, though, in it for sure. 70 Maul can be my friend. Yep, Darth Maul is a badass. He is awesome. Damocles says Rey is a cyborg. Yes, you are right about that. That is absolutely correct. Lost Soldier says, how could she fix the Millennium Flamingo in hyperspace? Yep. All good questions. Because she can. Because again, she can tap dance. She can sing. Let's see. She can create claymation. She can basket weave. She can do anything. She can do anything she puts her mind to because she is great at everything. Pretty much everything. Again, name one thing that she's not very good at. In all honesty, like, what part of her character has revealed any real flaws? I mean, it's a good question. Again, every character should have flaws. Every character should have a journey, and she just has not had one yet. So good points. Cyclone says, I don't know, Dad. Yep, I don't know either, man. Sea-Dog says, these are all great questions, Tina. Where's my notebook? I'm on page 52. It's so true. There are so many questions that you could use to tear apart this film. Jimmy says, I actually liked Rey in The Force Awakens and figured they would explain why she was so awesome in Last Jedi. Now I hate that character. You're exactly right. So again, were those characters perfect in The Force Awakens? No. But I feel like a lot of characters aren't, especially new characters. A lot of characters have the flaws, or at least don't have the perfect story when they are introduced, but then over time, as their characters are actually fleshed out, they explain away or at least justify the problems that were existing in the first. Again, that's at least what a good writer or a good director would use, would actually see. But instead, what we had was, okay, here's the interesting things. Now we're just going to subvert and do away with all those things. And where in the hell do we go from here? And episode 9, which is, again, why you need someone like a Dave Filoni who might be able to actually, you know, finagle a good, interesting story out of it. Because at this point, I don't know what the hell they're going to do. 70B is given that cookie. Trevor Toon says, I'm good and swimming vertically. Jason Clark says, it irritates me so much how Rey is this badass Jedi with no training at all. It does not stay true to the Star Wars canon universe. Exactly. Again, it does not make sense that, I mean, if anyone was going to be amazing at the Force on their own, it would have been Anakin, who was, again, according to George Lucas's prequels, was conceived by the Force, was essentially space Jedi Jesus. And if anyone was going to be naturally good at the Force, it was going to be him with the insanely high midichlorian count. But guess what? Guess what he needed? Training. Was able to do things that he couldn't understand? Yes, but clumsily. He could not control it. He did not know how to control his powers. Guess what he needed? He needed to be a Padawan. He needed to train. And all of a sudden, Rey can just do the Jedi mind trick just on a whim. It just doesn't make any sense. It does not work. And had they explained it in The Last Jedi, it may have made more sense, but they didn't, because it just doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Tina says, that was one thing I hated about The Force Awakens. As a history buff, I want info. We got no background as to how the New Order came to power. Why did the New Republic collapse? You were absolutely right. Again, there are so many things that they could have done narratively to fix it, and they didn't. Like, again, any problems with The Force Awakens could have been justified if they had fixed them or at least addressed them in The Last Jedi. But Rian Johnson didn't want to do that. Rian Johnson wanted to make his own independent film that was just completely detached from anything that came before and anything that will come after. And that's the reason why this new trilogy at the end is going to be a bust, because you're always going to have to watch The Last Jedi, and The Last Jedi is always going to ruin whatever plans that you have. So yeah, you're absolutely right on that. Stephanie says, Rey makes my head hurt. I can't even deal with her. Most of us can't. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Tina says, was this similar to the days before World War II where Nazi Germany worked its way into power? We got nothing, and I'm not reading an extra book to find out. Exactly. Again, no one wants to read an extra book when that stuff should have been put in the damn movie in the first place. It's like, if you think that that's good, saying, oh, we're going to put this extra stuff in the book and then you'll buy the book. It's like, no, because I have no desire to read the book because I wasn't even really interested. You just pissed me off. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Let's see. Jason Clark says, you got to remember Dave Filoni is one of the main guys behind Star Wars Clone Wars, which is a great series. Again, exactly, which is why he would be wonderful as the head of a story group or a role like that. I don't know if he would be I don't think he has the experience to be an executive. Again, I could be wrong. Maybe he would be a natural at it, but I think it's just a little bit of a different job. Again, because I think that the thing that makes Marvel work is that they have a good executive who is forward thinking. That's what they need. And I'm not saying Dave Filoni is not, but I'm just saying they need an executive who is forward thinking. We know Kathleen Kennedy is not, since she just goes from film to film, just doing whatever. But yeah, that's what I can understand where you're coming from, but that's how I feel about that. Damocles says Rey can't bake chocolate chip cookies. Well, according to the new universe, she can. She can cook anything. She can do anything she wants. Lost Soldier says, I step away for 2 seconds and get Epidus Rex wrecked. According, yep, you get wrecked. In fact, I had one of my kids today who was playing a game. He was like, get wrecked, get wrecked. His little 6-year-old. It's hilarious. Adam Davis, I'm back, baby's asleep. Hi, all. Well, welcome back, Adam Davis. Glad the baby is asleep. 70B said, Rey had on Uggs. Jeffrey Toon says, where on earth did the New Order get the resources to build Starkiller Base? And how is the New Republic only a handful of planets? Not only that, but how did they build Starkiller Base without any of the rebels knowing about it and being able to destroy it? Again, it seems like the rebels had enough wherewithal. I mean, according to the last Jedi, they had these giant bombers. So where were the giant bombers when the Dreadnought was being built? I mean, that was a giant ship when Starkiller Base was being built. Those are all excellent questions, and all questions that were never answered and never addressed because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Oh my goodness, guys. Someone needs to write down all these questions and then just send them off to Lucasfilm and saying, hey, can you answer all these questions? And if you can't, then you need to fire Kathleen Kennedy and probably talk to Dave Filoni about how to get this back on track. For sure. Cyclone says, I don't get that in Rebel ages you have ground troops, but in the Resistance ages you have no footage of ground troops, but so much air battles confused. Yeah. Good point. Very good point. Let's see. Yeah, 70B says, you got me. Yep. Let's see. Trevor June says sequel trilogy has no world building at all. You're exactly right. Again, the world's not built, and anything that is built is destroyed in the following film. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Lost Soldier says paperback cash grabs. No thanks. Again, most people don't read today. I'm not knocking reading, but most people don't. And if you're gonna make a film, that's okay, and expect people to go read a book to find out more of things that should have been in the film in the first place. That's not a way to sell it. That's not a way to sell anything. Cobra Kaiser Soze says Rey has a tattoo of herself freeing a butterfly on her lower back. Jeffrey Toon says it's like nobody in movies knows how movies work anymore. Yep, pretty much. Again, and that's the reason why I think the biggest problem is there is no executive who is thinking ahead, is planning every step forward. I mean, if I was someone who is at the head of Lucasfilm right now, I would say, okay, here's what we're doing 10 years from now. I mean, again, look at Marvel. I'm sure they had in their minds a 10-year plan, and now they probably have like a 20-year plan. And you need people who are forward thinking, who know how all these things are going to work together. So if you have a trilogy that's all supposed to work together, if you have a trilogy that's all supposed to be coherent story-wise, you're going to want those stories to work together, not have stories conflicting one another, fighting one another. That's just not how it works. And that's what happens when you have a Kathleen Kennedy against someone who might do fine work somewhere else, but when it comes to planning ahead or planning a trilogy, she has done a terrible job. So yeah, you're absolutely right about that for sure. All right. Let's see. Democles says, I think in episode 9 they will say that it is an alternative universe type of deals. I think at this point they kind of have to. I think at this point they have to retcon something, because if they go forward with what was set up in The Last Jedi, it's not going to work. And if they just try and push forward with that mindset and it doesn't work, audiences are going to hate it and they're going to lose money. I mean, that is really, if we're going to be honest, if we're going to use common sense here, that is the truth. That is what's going to happen. Mech says, also, how did a stormtrooper space janitor know so much about the FO's First Order's super secret weapon? Yep. Also a very good question, though I do think that he had a little bit more of an explanation, because even though he is the janitor, he is still a member of, this group that's been brainwashed since the beginning. So I'm sure that since they're brainwashed, they are not kept from, private conversations, or they're not kept. It's not like you are in an office building and you try and keep things secret, because if you have someone who's brainwashed, who's supposed to do whatever you want, I'm sure that might be the reasoning behind it. And also maybe he saw things in his work. I mean, there are at least ways that you can kind of explain that, but even then it's a stretch. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, it just does not work even then. Jeffrey Toon says he was in charge of keeping the super weapon. Yes. Maybe that was in the novel. Maybe they mentioned that in the novel. That would have been at least, would have made sense at least, right? Mech says, you should know that you screwed up when you have to use your novel adaptation to fill in plot holes in the film. Novel adaptation should expand on the film's details, not correct them. Damn right, Mex. You are totally right on that. That is spot on. Again, as we've mentioned before, the extended universe is mostly consistent in books and comics. And so that's what they do. They extend the universe. They broaden the scope of the universe. They don't just say, oh, remember that continuity error, or you remember that narrative error? Yeah, let's fix that in the novel. Yeah, doesn't work at all. Jason Clark says, I do agree with you. Dave Filoni would be great for the creative side, but not as an executive. Yep, absolutely. I mean, again, he should be involved. They should definitely contact him about getting involved in the story writing for the episode 9, and also probably every Star Wars film going forward. But they should probably find someone with more experience as a successful executive than what they have right now, for sure. Meg says, I'm looking at you, Ruin has no Johnson and Last Jedi. I love that expression so much. Cyclone says, I love how me and my dad are in the same live stream. That is pretty cool. Are y'all in the same house? Again, I don't want to ask about ages or anything like that, but are you in the same house? Or do y'all live in different places? And y'all, because either way, it's awesome that y'all are both on the same live stream. Joshua Davis, welcome Joshua Davis. Welcome to the chat. He says, to explain all this, the original trilogy ended at Return of the Jedi. The sequels were never meant to happen. Return of the Jedi has had complete closure. Yep, I agree with you there completely. And that's why they should just retcon what they've done and pick up and go in a better direction moving forward, for sure. 70B says, always go full retcon. That I can definitely agree with. Always go full retcon, especially when you screw up so badly as they did. Jeffrey Toon says, I hate retcon. It feels creatively redundant and lazy to me. Yes, it is. But again, would you rather them just move forward with the story, or would you rather them try to fix it? Like, that's the question that I have to ask. And I feel like that's a logical question. Like, do you want to see them just to continue to fail moving forward, or do you want to see them maybe try and do a lazy tactic like retconning or doing whatever they're going to do, time travel, whatever, to fix the story and to present something that eventually leads to something cooler in the future? And I mean, I think I'd rather them try to fix it than just let it keep going the way that it is, personally. Cobra Kaiser Soze says, who would be your dream director writer for episode 9? Oh man. So I think a lot of people are going to know where I'm going to go with this one, because he is my favorite, my favorite. He is my favorite current working director in Hollywood. And that is Denis Villeneuve. He is of Blade Runner 2049 fame. He did Arrival. He did Enemy. He did Prisoners. He did the first Sicario film. I mean, this guy has done, every film he's done has been great. And we already know he can do sci-fi very well. If you saw Blade Runner 2049 or even Arrival, he can work with big projects very well. In fact, Blade Runner 2049, if that film doesn't convince you that this man should be given a Star Wars film and be given complete creative control, I don't know what the hell else will. He is fantastic. So my dream, I think he should do the next trilogy. I think they should fire Rian Johnson and say, we're going to give Denis Villeneuve the next trilogy. I know that he's got a lot on his plate because he's doing Dune, and I think he's doing a Dune sequel as well. And then there's possibility he might do Sicario 3. So he's got a lot of films on his plate right now. But you know what? If they're going to give it to anybody, he not only deserves it, but I think he would make a kick-ass trilogy and also a kick-ass episode 9 as well. And also, I think that anyone that he works well with as a writer, bring that person on, and it would be a great story. Denis Villeneuve. Again, changed my mind on that one. I don't think there's anyone else who would be better. So Cobra Kaiser Soze, thank you very much for that question. Definitely. Again, Denis Villeneuve. If you've never seen his work, please go see it. He is a modern masterworker. Mech says, is anyone else here tired of stormtroopers being nothing but cannon fodder? Yeah, I mean, make stormtroopers, relevant. Make stormtroopers interesting. I mean, the best chance they had was with Finn because he was a stormtrooper. But I feel like there's just so much more that they could do. There's so much more they could do with stormtroopers. I think you're right. I would like to see more depth on them for sure. Cyclone says, yes, we are, and we are both cracking. Lost Soldier, he's in the next round. Dude, that's awesome. That's fantastic. Well, you know what? I think this is the first and probably the only time that we're going to do this unless y'all are on the stream again. But Lost Soldier and Cyclone, y'all both get digital cookies. Y'all don't have to split. Y'all don't have to share this digital cookie with each other. Y'all don't have to go to the, you don't have to go back and forth between rooms to share the digital cookie. You both get your own individual digital cookie because that's awesome. It is the first father-son digital cookie gift that I'm giving. That is awesome. That's fantastic. Mech says, stormtroopers are supposed to be an elite for frontline assault troops that are methodical, precise, and extremely well trained and equipped to take enemy troops head on. Yes, very good point. So it'd be very interesting to see them actually portrayed as that instead of people who have the worst accuracy in the world. Jimmy says, I honestly believe if they make an episode 9 or 10, they can save this trilogy. They need episode 9 to actually grow the characters, 10 to conclude it. Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. I think episode 9 is going to be it. At least for the current story arc, the current story that they're going. I don't think they're going to go more than that. I think they're going to try and go in a different direction in the next trilogy that they do, at least in this universe. Because I know obviously Rian Johnson was supposed to get a trilogy. I don't think he's going to get it. I think he's poisoned the well on that. I just don't see him being able to get it. But yeah, I think you're right on that. I think they need to do something soon. If they don't fix anything with 9, executively, creatively, anything, then Star Wars might be in permanent trouble, at least for like the next 5 to 7 years. Like it might be enough time between the prequels and episode 7. That's the amount of time that we might have to wait before they reboot it and they have people who are actually creative and people who actually can put the story together, like Denis Villeneuve personally. Let's see. Soldier says, retcon Luke back to life. I think that's what a lot of people would like to see. And I think there's different ways that they could do that. I don't think they will. I think at best we'll see him as a Force ghost, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Mech says, think ancient Spartan hoplite warriors trained from youth up to take 12 times their numbers. Yep. Again, I totally agree with you. I definitely think that they should be more badass than they are, especially with those. I was actually very excited. I thought they were going to do that with Stormtroopers when the trailers for The Force Awakens came out, because there was that very early trailer where they showed the Stormtroopers like in the ship, and it was like all the lights were like fading in and out. And it looked really cool. It looked like a war. And I was very excited to see that. And unfortunately, it just never really went anywhere. So I agree with you. Sammy says, has almost caught up to the chat. Yes, I'm actually doing really well with the chat right now. Cobra Kaiser Soze says, great choice. Well, thank you. I thank you for appreciating that choice, because again, if you don't know his work, please check it out. He is fantastic. Jerry Toon says, I can make an exception to retcon with regards to, yeah, again, me too. I don't like retcon either. I don't like doing it for the sake of doing it. I think as long as you do it for a purpose and as long as it's the best thing to do, which in this case, I think it is, that's when you should retcon. And I think they absolutely need to at this point. Jason Clark says they really screwed up. They have a great actress playing Captain Phasma, and yet they give her 3 lines in 2 movies and kill her off maybe in Last Jedi. Yeah, I honestly think she's going to come back. I think that they might try and say that her suit, even though it's really damaged, she might have burns now, which might even make her look even more badass. Yeah, she's a great actress. I love her on Game of Thrones. She's freaking fantastic. And yeah, they totally waste her. Again, Captain Phasma, strong female character, could have done so much with her and wasted. They'd rather spend more time developing Rey as a Mary Sue than giving Captain Phasma, who actually looks like she could beat somebody up, and I could actually believe that she would be able to beat somebody up, including Finn and Rey and a lot of the other people that they have, and instead just decided to destroy it. They just tried to, they destroy it. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Jason Clark. Absolutely right. Sea-Dog says they're going to pull an X-Men Future Past to reset the Star Wars universe. They might have to. At this point, they might have to. Rose Tico Enthusiast RTE. Yes, I'm so glad to see your name back in the chat. Always welcome to have you, sir. She's not dead. She'll be in Resistance TV series, probably. Lost Soldier says, I love that director Sicario and Blade Runner. What a new Dune I'm in. Can't spell his name, but I'm in. Yeah, I can barely pronounce his name. But yes, so he is indeed doing Dune. I think he's already slated to do Dune 1 and 2. So I think he's slated to do 2 films. Don't quote me on that, but I know he's in fact doing Dune. And yeah, I'm very excited too, because I don't even really know Dune very well, but I know what he did with Blade Runner, and Blade Runner was damn near flawless. And oh my goodness, Sicario 2 was damn near flawless as well. Sicario 2 is very good, by the way. If you have not seen Sicario Day of the Soldado, I recommend you go see it. Is it as good as the first one? No, it doesn't have Denis Villeneuve, and it doesn't have it has Roger Deakins did the cinematography for Sicario as well. So it doesn't have those 2 people, but it still looks really good. It also it still has Taylor Sheridan as the writer, and that is, to me, like the heart of the film. And so I would still recommend it. But yes, absolutely, I think Denis Villeneuve would make an amazing Star Wars film, let alone a trilogy. Cyclone says, "Yay, cookies!" Adam Davies says Denis Villeneuve would be perfect, but I don't see him putting up with too many cooks in the kitchen. That's why I think that in his contract he would say, "I get full creative control." And I don't think he would do it otherwise. I think that he's been given full creative control on every project he's done because he is just very good at his job. And I don't think he would take a job. I don't think he would take the film if they didn't give him that kind of control. Lost Soldier says, no nuts in the cookies, please. Hey, I only give out chocolate chip digital cookies, so you never have to worry about that. RT says, see, I'm way late today. Hey, that's totally fine. You're more than welcome. And you know what? At the end of the day, you're always on time because we're always talking about something. Jeffrey Toon says, oh my God, they killed Phasma. Again, I don't think she's dead. I think they will probably bring her back. But yeah, they at the very least, they have totally ruined her character because she was a badass in the first one. They throw her down a trash compactor, and it's like, okay, well, I guess that character wasn't very cool. And then episode 2, or rather episode 7, and then episode 8, you think to yourself, oh man, this is where Captain Phasma is going to kick some ass. And then what happens? She gets beat in like less than a minute, and it's, oh my goodness, I hated that so much. Jason Clark says she is awesome in Game of Thrones, and yet they waste her potential. You're damn right, she is awesome in Game of Thrones. I love Brienne of Tarth is just one of the best characters on that show, and yeah, they totally waste her. Jeffrey Toon says next film, Phasma's back. I really do think that. I really do think they're gonna bring her back, and I really hope they don't screw her character up this time. RT says they haven't killed her. She'll be in the Resistance TV show, probably. Again, I think I just don't see them getting rid of her character. She's just too good. She's just too awesome. Everyone's saying hello to everyone. Cyclone says, in our thoughts on Kylo, what do you think of him? I think he is a weirdo. Again, I like Kylo in The Force Awakens. I think that they give him enough of a character to be interested in his background, to be interested to see where his character is going to go. And then I just think they ruin it in The Last Jedi. They set it up in The Force Awakens, and I think they ruin it in The Last Jedi. They make him too much of a and I mentioned this too to that guy I mentioned earlier who tried to defend The Last Jedi in a very respectful way. So that's why I'm totally engaging with him right now. And I responded with one of my points saying, well, they turned Kylo into a really cool badass, into like a little emo teenager, and it's just it takes away from the character. So yeah, absolutely right. I think that he is a weirdo after The Last Jedi, but I did like where they were going with him in The Force Awakens. I think he had a lot of potential in The Force Awakens, that's for sure. Let's see. RT says, is Brad the Loon about? Brad is not about yet. He came in late the last time we did a stream, so hopefully he comes in soon. But yeah, he's always great to have. C-Dog says the will be lucky if he is allowed to direct a Fruit Loop commercial after what he pulled. Hey, I am not surprised by that at all. Greta says, are you going to see Sorry to Bother You? I thought the trailer looked really interesting. I don't know. When I saw the trailer for it, I just thought to myself, this has SJW written all over it. That's just my own opinion. But I might. I haven't seen any updated trailers, and I'm definitely going to look at reviews, and I'm going to see as many clips as I can before actually going to see it. So I might go see it, but it has that vibe to it right now for me. Because isn't that the movie where at one point one of the characters goes, let me put on my white voice? I don't know. Jeffrey Toon says, Phasma, another Kathleen Kennedy strong whammon that is superfluous to the films. Yep. And again, and also Phasma could have been a badass. Phasma could have been a strong female character that worked for the film, but again, you have incompetent people behind the project and they don't know how to do it. RT says Johnson is a Muppet Baby. No, Johnson's not good enough to be a Muppet Baby. Muppet Babies are amazing. I love that show growing up. Johnson's something. I'm going to tell you that much. Sea Dog says, but then again, I don't want him subverting my morning breakfast also. Sea Dog, digital cookie for you, sir. That is... I don't think anyone wants their breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and I don't think anyone wants it subverted, personally. Let's see. Cyclist says, oh, okay. Vincent Vader, what's up, Vincent Vader? Welcome back to the chat. Ray with her chiclet tea. Random game user, what is up, Random? How's it going? What, 89-pound Ray can't beat people up? Yeah, I know, right? No, she can do anything. She can do anything she puts her mind to because she's a Mary Sue. She can do whatever she wants. Super says, Brienne is in my top 5 Game of Thrones characters. Gotta love Gwendolyn Christie. Yep, I would agree with that. She is awesome. Definitely one of my top favorites as well. Jimmy says, Dune! RD says, hey, Odin, I see I missed the Wookiee suit episode. Devastated. Hey, you know what? That's the one great thing about live streams is that it goes online like immediately after. So you can check me out in all of my glory anytime you want. But we've been talking about RT. So you're here right now. So RT is also regular to this broadcast. And so I want to say to RTE, I've been talking to some people about possibly starting up a Patreon account, but I want to make sure that it's something that people actually want. And if there's things that people want to see that maybe I could start doing. And one of the suggestions for the top tier, I don't know what that would be. It wouldn't be anything more than $5 though. And that's if I do it, which is still not guaranteed at this point, would be me going once a month to any location within reason that my patrons would vote on in my Wookiee suit dancing. And then we can like set a time limit. We can set like conditions or whatever. And yeah, so what do you think about that? Is that something that you'd be interested in seeing? Let me know. That might be a way that you can see it in the future. Cobra Kaiser Soze says, Phasma literally has less than 2 minutes of screen time in The Last Jedi. Yep. One of the coolest characters you have. One of the characters that so many people want to see, and she's barely on screen, and yet they're trying to sell her toy. Also, it's like, I'm sorry, but based on her screen on time, she should not be a major character that you sell as a toy, and yet you're trying to sell it to us. 70B says, I love Dune. I still need to see it. But you know what? I might wait for Denis Villeneuve's version because it's going to be amazing. So I don't know. If you love Dune, though, if you like the original Dune, maybe it's something I put on my list. I've heard of it before. I know that much. Adam Davies says, I can't wait for Dune. The sleeper must awaken. I'm sure that's a reference I'm missing. Cobra Kai Jose says, I want a sequel or a remake of Buckaroo Banzai with Peter Weller. My avatar. I've never seen it. What is Buckaroo Banzai? Never heard of that. Is that something I should put on my list? Let me know. Lost Soldier says, Sicario 2 was great. I plan on seeing it a second time while I'm gone. That's awesome. Yes. I mean, I think you mentioned that before. Yeah. So again, someone else agrees. Sicario 2 is great. I would definitely recommend seeing it. Make sure that film gets some money because it is a film. Once again, hopefully this sells you on it. It's a movie about Mexican cartels and the Mexican border without the politics. I don't know what else I could say. Like, it's badass, it's action filled, and it doesn't have any of the damn border politics, and it's fantastic. And it's amazing that Hollywood would make a film about the Mexican border without the politics. I mean, I just think that's amazing. And I totally credit Taylor Sheridan's writing to that, because if he wasn't the one writing it, I don't know what they would have done. Cyclone says, no, same here, Tina. I want to force push him off of a cliff. RT says, gone where, soldier? Oh yeah, because y'all are going to Alaska, right? Yeah, soldier. I thought you left, and now you're back with your son. I thought you left. Never mind. I'm sure you'll explain in the chat. Cyclone says, not really. Jason Carr says, I knew Star Wars was in trouble when Kathleen Kennedy came out with the Force is female cheater. Oh my God. So I use that picture. I've used it a few times in my thumbnails because it is so cringeworthy whenever I see that picture. And someone's made this point several times before. If the Force doesn't have a gender, let's just put that straight up there. The Force doesn't have a gender. I mean, the Force is the Force. That's what it is. The Force is the Force. It's nothing more. It's kind of like God. God doesn't have a gender. Not getting into that discussion anymore. But if it was going to be any gender, though, it would be, based on the explanations we've gotten in the film so far, male, because what's one of the things that Obi-Wan Kenobi says? It penetrates us. But just to be clear, the Force does not have a gender. But yeah, I hate those shirts too. That, again, if that wasn't a red flag, I don't know what else could be. Cyclone says, I love how this live stream is treated like one big family. It really is. This is a huge family. and it's awesome. That's why I love this stream so much. I love every single person in here. When people come back after not being here for like one stream or another, it's just awesome. I love it. So I'm glad, Cyclone, that you're now a part of the family now, that both you and your dad are a part of this family. That's awesome. It's so freaking cool that we have a father-son member of this family. It's fantastic. Jeffrey Toon says, the Force is all around us. It doesn't have a gender, and seeing it is knocked up shimmy, it must be male. That is another great point as well. Again, seeing that Anakin was a product of the Force, and she was indeed female, or at least who knows at this point. Maybe they oh, I don't even want to talk about it. Lost Soldier. Yeah, Alaska. That's what I thought. Cobra Kaiser Soze says Ryan Johnson cries himself to sleep with his gargantuan cranium every night on his huge pillow. It has to be huge. I mean, it really does have to be a huge pillow. Super says, this might be a stupid question, but I'm thinking of having a movie day and seeing Sicario 2 this week. Think the content is safe to bring an old school parent along to watch. Depends on if that parent is okay with very explicit violence and also explicit language. So if they're okay with explicit language and violence, then maybe it'd be okay. But just know that going in. It is definitely an R-rated film. It earns its R rating. So it really depends on that. But if you say that they're an old school parent, I don't know what you mean by that. I don't mean by like if you mean like old school, like with like that kind of movie, or old school, like very prim and proper old school. So again, it earns its R rating from violence and language, just so y'all know that. Everything says Raven is a right B. Let's see. Lost Soldier. I get what you're saying here. Tradition. RT says subverting serialization. Trevor Tune says, I believe Ryan Johnson's head has more moons than Jupiter. That's pretty good. Jason Clark says, if some guy came out with the Forces male t-shirts, can you imagine the outrage? Well, guess what? I believe Jeremy Geese and Gamers came out with a shirt. It wasn't that, but it was that the Force is gender neutral. And yeah, I can imagine some of the conversations that some people had while wearing that shirt. But yeah, you're right. There would have been outrage over it. And it's interesting that it's not a two-way street. Again, I'm all for equality, but you have to understand what equality is. And a lot of people in Hollywood, especially, and a lot of people in the media don't actually know what the word equality means. And that is just one of those examples that I would say absolutely. Lost Soldier says, so would that make Ruin Johnson a serial killer? I like corny jokes. That was good. I bet your son loved that one. I cannot wait to read his comment. Adam Davies says, true tune, but my favorite villain in Dune is Peter DeVries. I can't wait to find out what that means. Mech says Rey cannot close her mouth. But is that a good or bad thing? Again, is that something? Actually, you know what? Interesting point. You've blown my mind, Mex. Cyclone says, and also I love how when we are at the movie theater watching Star Wars and the movie ends, we are all like another great like another great movie. But after one day, we are all like, why Disney? Why this movie is garbage? Yep. It's interesting that we'll have films that make us want to see more, and then they make something where it's, no, I don't want to see anymore. What are you doing? I don't care about this. And it's really sad. Artie says, interesting proposition, Odin. What style of dance will you be doing? I will let y'all vote on that as well. I don't know. I'll let y'all choose a song too, I guess. There's so many things that I could do with it. Again, if it's something that piques interest, I will look into starting one and letting y'all know what the tiers are and everything like that. But let me know. Jeffrey Toon says, I like smart villains like DeVries, Palpatine, and Joker. Definitely Palpatine, Joker, since I know those characters. RTE says, is that Dune with Sting in it? Sounds like it. Random Gaming User says, Buckaroo Banzai is a weird 80s cult movie. Yeah, I have a very weird mixed relationship with cult movies. Sometimes I like, sometimes I don't. Tina says, Sleeper was Awaken. Sleeper was Awaken was a line in David Lynch's Dune. Okay. All right. I figured that much, so it sounds like I need to watch it. Sea-Dog says, looks like JJ is going back to the well casting Kerry Russell for episode 9. Yeah. I mean, I like Kerry Russell. I think she is a good actress, so it'll be interesting to see what character she has. But she needs to have a good script. She needs to have a good script, a good story, if she's gonna be able to do anything at this point. Also just says, "Son, Last Jedi was bad even on the first go." Tina says, "Sorry, the sleeper must awaken." Yeah, I figured that was a quote from that film. Sea Dog says, "What is that for, Steph?" Well, you got one. You weren't listening. You must have gone away for a second. I gave you a digital cookie, man. Joshua Davis says, "I believe that Spider-Man from Spider-Man Homecoming is the anti-Ray. Spider-Man struggled too much through the entire movie, while Ray was able to do everything too easy." That's actually a really good point. Again, Peter Parker in that film had to work at it constantly, failed, had to learn from the mistakes, had to constantly change, got the suit taken away from him, had to learn how to do it on his own. And that's why it was a good film, and that's why he had a very good story arc. Unlike Ray, which has not have a good story arc because she's just good at everything. It doesn't make any sense. Sea Dog, Felicity, and Lost. Yep. She also had a very brief moment in one of the Mission Impossible films when there's a bomb in her head and then her eye goes all crazy, and part freaks me out every time. Bombs in the head, that freaks me out. Does not make me comfortable. RT says Ray's mom is Felicity. Yep. Or at least that's what people are speculating. We don't know what her character is yet. RT says, "I don't remember her being in Lost." Random Gaming just says, "The Force penetrates us." Giggity goo. Lost Soldier says, "No, I was in Puerto Rico a week ago. I remember that. Home for a week and back out on the road for another 2-week course on the road again. Looks like I'm on the road again." Jeffrey Dean says, "The Force is Quagmire." Oh my God. That needs to be on a shirt. Could you imagine the Force is Quagmire and it's like a Death Star, but it's like Quagmire's head? That'd be fantastic. Sammy B says, "Everybody here is super cool." Everyone here is so damn cool. I love this chat so much. It's awesome. Sea Dog says, "She just finished with one of my favorite series, The Americans. I heard really great things about The Americans. Never watched it, but I heard great things." Max says, "The Force is the plaything of the wills, so spake George Lucas. So it has been written, and so it shall be done." I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. Again, as I said, I would love to see a story about those little wills with all their little personalities, their little home and everything. Can Bob the Will and his beautiful wife Nancy, I think would be wonderful. I would love to see that. Cyclone says, "Disney, I have the fans haters. You underestimate my power, my comments." Sea Dog says, "But to tell you the truth, I don't even care." Yeah, that's the sad truth we really have at this point. I know it's like, oh, she's in it. Well, wait a minute. I like her, but at the end of the day, do I really care? Do I care at this point? I don't think any of us really do. Sea Dog says, "You could tell me Robert De Niro was cast in episode 9. It wouldn't be phasing latest." Well, I will say this. Modern day Robert De Niro, I don't want to see in anything. After his comments at the Tonys this year, where the first thing he said was F Trump, and it's like, I'm not saying anything about Trump for me personally, but just the fact that that's the first thing that you say at an award show, it's like, seriously, dude, like, just stop. Like that, I'm not okay with. I'm not okay with that kind of political discourse, especially at an award show. Just even in general, I think that it's just not constructive. And so, yeah, I wouldn't want to see him really. I wouldn't want to see modern Robert De Niro in any of these films because I think he would bring that kind of nonsense into the films personally. Cyclone says, "I am Cookie Monster's cousin." I'm Cookie Monster's brother because I love chocolate chip cookies. Ram Gamer says, "I think Ethan was making a Force is male shirt." I really hope he does because that is going to be a huge seller. Lost Soldier says, "OMG, Odin with the beard. You could be Tevye from Fiddler." I could. I think I still need a few more years before I could be age appropriate for that role. But yeah, I would love to be that. I would love to do that show. I think that would be a fun show. Yeah, if I were a rich man. Sea Dog says, "Tina, you live in a cave?" Oh my goodness. Jefferson says, "I have no problem with equality, but it is supposed to be a two-way street." Exactly. Again, that's what equality is. Equality is everyone is treated the same. Everyone is viewed as a person, as a human being. And that's how I always try to approach things in life. And other people say, "Oh no, then you just strip away their identity." And it's like, they're a human person. What else do I need to know at this point? Jason Clark says, "Dude, you got to watch Buckaroo Banzai. It's awesome." Sword Damocles says, "I got to run. Have a good one, friends." Well, thank you, Damocles, for joining us once again. You are always welcome here. Always great to have you. Says, "I don't really understand the t-shirt, to be honest. The Force isn't a person, so I don't know what the statement is supposed to mean." Basically, Yeah, so I don't understand the t-shirt by Kathleen Kennedy either. It's really stupid that they try to engender the Force. Doesn't make any sense. It's again, there is no gender to the Force. But as far as the counter shirts, those are just to make fun of the fact that they actually said that at one point. Super says, I think it'll be okay then. I meant old school as in like traditional is conservative, as long as there aren't scenes like the interrogation with Del Toro like there was in the first. There is a interrogation scene. I don't remember it being as extreme. Basically, it's someone watching something terrible happen, and what they're watching happen is not bloody, but it's definitely disturbing. So I will say that much. So again, I would maybe do a little more research before you see it. Again, because since I don't know them, I don't know if it would be something that they would like or not. But I love it personally. I think it's a great film. And Lost Soldier likes it too. So Jeffrey Toon says, a different dance each month. Yep, a different dance each month, a different song, different location. All those things could be part of it. Lost Soldier says, haha, he just came in here for that one. Good one, Odin. His jokes are cornier than mine, and I end up telling people his I hear you. Cyclone says, if I had a nickel for every hater in Star Wars Disney haters, I would be rich. Yep. I think we all would. RC says, oh, I see Greta. Yep, Greta is here. Routine says, the Force is female was a bad marketing decision. Yes, it was. I guaranteed you that cost them a lot of money. And Routine says, it was confusing for a start. Yep, absolutely. Loster says, Odin, you have to moonwalk in the Chewie suit. Yeah, again, that could be one of the things you asked me to do. I don't know how to moonwalk, but that would be something that you could see me fail miserably at in front of a Taco Bell, for example, or in front of I don't know. Again, y'all could choose. Again, those are the kind of ideas that I like to hear, and those are kind of the thoughts that I'm thinking about for possibly doing on for that. So yeah, again, if you think I should do that, if you think I should do Patreon, put Patreon yes. I already have like 2 people said yes, 1 said maybe, 1 said no. So I would love to hear y'all's feedback, and also if you have other suggestions for things I could do for the different tiers, let me know that as well. 70 says, but yet that girl on Twitter told us not to use the word female for women. Say what? I know, right? It's like that girl, Amanda Ward, says that using the word female is offensive. What world do we live in today where just saying the word female is seen as offensive? That would be like saying the word cake is offensive. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But also, I would ask Amanda Ward, so if I call a man a male, is that equally offensive? And if you say it's not, then you are the one who is a sexist at that point. Just throwing it out there, guys. Jason Clark says, Jeff Toon, yes, it was confusing. Super says, yeah, I'm cool. Damn right, you're cool. Tina says, remember, no speculating on episode 9 or you'll get a post-it note with Ray. Your Ray theory sucks from the blockheads at Lucasfilm. That is true. Yeah, and we might have someone just come into the chat or leave a comment saying, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking. Yeah, that's what we see. Super says, take that middle school bully. Yep, Super, you are awesome. You are awesome. Max says, what about Bob the Will? Exactly. What about Bob? Bob the Will and Nancy the Will. That is what I want to see. I want to see a story about the Wills, Bob and Nancy, and all of their children, their millions of children, and how they interact with the universe and how they somehow were able to conceive a child in Anakin Skywalker. That's what I want to see. I want to see that story. I want to see a microscopic story at the biological level. Tina says, honestly, what was the last good movie De Niro was in? Perfect. Yep. Perfect point right there. Seems in the last decade or so, he's only played parodies of his better roles. I would agree with you there. And Greta's about to get it right here. Robert De Niro has been making horrible choices for roles lately. It's sad what he's become. It really is. I mean, to think this is the same guy that was in Taxi Driver, to think that this is the same guy that was in Raging Bull, that this guy has done so many iconic roles over his so many years in acting. And I would say the last good role I can think of him being in was Meet the Parents, the first one. I mean, I think that was the only like modern role where he's playing like this family friendly character. That's like the only role that worked really well for him, I think. So that's what I would say. Adam Navy says, what about Bob? Awesome. Yeah, I know, right? Let's see. Super says, exactly. Equality is not hating on men and hiring almost exclusively women. Yep. And Jessica Jones could learn a lot from that because they were very sexist with their decisions in this latest season for sure. And I think it affected their show. I really do. C-Dog says, Jada's next casting will be Jennifer Garner. Random Game User 42 says they're trying to pull the Force is female crap in Star Trek as well with the future is female BS. I mean, just get that out of here. Again, that does not need to be a part of Star Trek or Star Wars. We don't need that nonsense in any of these franchises. RT says Del Toro's performance was really on the nose. Yeah, and it is, I would say, even better in Sicario 2. Like, it's just, oh my goodness, so damn good. RT says, do the mashed potato. Yep, I would do the mashed potato. That would be an option. Everton says they used to call it positive discrimination, and the clue is the second word. Yep, it is still discrimination. Lost Soldier says, dang it, brother. Now I want Taco Bell. Yeah, I want some Taco Bell right now, too. And hey, fourth meal, right? Whatever happened to that campaign? C-Dog says, you could tell me Leonardo DiCaprio was cast in episode 9 and would rather take Last Jedi again. Despite the fact that I don't like his politics, I think Leonardo DiCaprio is a fantastic actor. I think that he's done I think he's made a lot of really great decisions for his projects, and I think that he's still really great. Everyone says mashed potato. Artie says, girl on Twitter. Yes, we are talking about Amanda Ward. And if you don't know her, look her up on Twitter, or actually just look at several people have done videos. I'm sure one of my Valkyrie will be able to hook you up with a video that helps to explain what Amanda Ward said. Jeffrey Toon says the jerk dance. Oh my God, I love the jerk. So yes, that could be an option too. That could be an option. Adam Davies says, damn it, Odin, I knew you were a cakeist. Yep. I hate white cake. Hate it. Actually, no, to be perfectly honest, I hate funfetti. Why? Because I don't trust it. I don't trust funfetti. I don't. If that makes me a cakeist, then so be it. But I do not trust funfetti at all. And you can't change my mind on that. Funfetti is evil. Jason Clark says The Americans is a great series and Kerry Russell delivers great performances. All right, good to hear. Good to hear. Lost Soldier says her name is Amanda Ward. Why is she offended by woman? Like you say, pseudo-intellectuals. Yep, she is a pseudo-intellectual for sure. RT says, what about Bill Murray playing a Will? Bill? I haven't seen that. Dude, Bill Murray as Bob the Will. Oh my goodness. I would watch that in a heartbeat for sure. Jeffrey says, did she block you, Steph? Is that it's what they do? It is what they do. I don't know who she's blocked, but she's definitely blocked a lot of people. That's for sure. RT says, I don't mind Jennifer Garner. I don't mind her either. I think she's fine. Super says, De Niro was good in Luc Besson's The Family from a few years ago, but I still totally agree. I did not like The Family. I did not like that movie. So I would disagree with you there only because I did not like the movie. I think he was the best part of the movie. But I actually I did not like that movie. I just didn't. RT says, aren't they all trolls on Twitter? Pretty much. Tippytail McKitty. What is up, McKitty? Welcome back. Canceled Netflix because Punisher was so bad. After Iron Fist and that was the last straw. I love Punisher. Punisher is my second favorite show. My favorite shows are Daredevil at number 1, Punisher at number 2, then Luke Cage, then then actually, you know what? I would actually then put Iron Fist and then Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones, I think, is trash. I really do. Really, I actually like the Punisher. I'd love to hear your thoughts about why you don't like it. Jason Clark says, don't feed the trolls because they'll multiply. RT says, I don't use Twitter. Yep. You're not missing much. I would stay away from it. Random Game Amanda Ward is horrible. I made a video about one of the crazy things she said. Well, there you go. Random Game User, if you can somehow get in contact with one of my Valkyrie, they can post a link to your video, and then you can go support, not only watch the video to find out what she said, but also support Random Game User as well. So, Jeffrey says, Twitter is the birthplace of all trolls. Yep. Adam Davis says, hey, Steph, I ran into a bit of trouble with Steele Saunders' mates yesterday. Oh, Steele. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of that. Tina says, I want you to do the dance John Travolta and Uma Thurman did in Pulp Fiction, and I don't trust Funfetti either. Yes, Tina, this is why we get along so well. Yeah, I don't trust Funfetti. It disturbs me. But yes, that would be an option. Again, if I were to do a Patreon, that would be one of the things that I would offer for the top tier for sure. So again, things to think about. And again, give me options. Give me yes, Patreon, no Patreon, maybe, or even a suggestion of something that you would like to see me do, something that you would be willing to donate money to. Because again, I don't want you just to give me money. I don't want that. I don't like that concept. I want you to be paying for something, paying for some content, something that you want to see. So whether that's me dressing up in a Wookiee costume, dancing at random places every month, or whether it's me doing, as I said, doing an extra exclusive podcast, or doing any one of those other things that I could possibly do, let me know. And we'll definitely talk about it. RT says, I get Jennifer Garner and Rachel McAdams mixed up. They look similar to me. I know the difference between them. I think they're both great. I think they're both great. So it says Leonardo DiCaprio is funny. He never stops talking about the environment while he takes his private jet everywhere. Good actor. Exactly. Again, I don't like his politics. I think he's silly. I think that he's totally off base with a lot of those things because he's very hypocritical with a lot of what he fights for. But he is an amazing actor. I mean, Wolf of Wall Street. Oh my goodness, he should have won an Oscar for that performance. It was so damn good. The lewd scene when he goes full cerebral palsy. Oh my goodness, that's so good. Also, Scorsese. So, Nemesis. What is up, Nemesis? Welcome to the chat. Nemesis says Taco Bell calories don't count because Taco Bell doesn't stay in your body that long. Lost Soldier says, what? You're a white cakeist with a funfetti phobia? What about cookie cake? I love cookie cakes. Cookie cakes are my favorite. I would say that I have a... Actually, no, I'm not going to say that because that would not be very appropriate of me to say. I'm not going to say, but let me just put it this way. I love cookie cakes a lot. So maybe says, I checked and I think she blocked me. Justin Clark says, can I Google Amanda Ward and find videos? I'm not sure about Google, but again, one of my Valkyrie might be able to hook you up with a video. So Valkyrie, do your jobs. No, I'm kidding. If you can find it, great. If not, that's fine too. Nemesis says, that means you should shapoopy when I'll do the shapoopy. I will go full shapoopy, 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 the girl who's hard to get. I will sing it too in my Chewbacca onesie. Again, that is an option for top tier. If I decide to do Patreon, that would definitely be a top tier exclusive for that crew. And y'all would get to vote on the location, on the dance, on the music, everything. And it would all be in the Chewbacca onesie. So again, let me know if that's something you're interested in. Lost Order says, I loved The Punisher, then Cage 2. Again, I like season 2 of Cage. I do think there's some SJW-isms in there that I'm not too fond of. But the rest of the story is so good and the acting's very solid that it's able to make up for that. Unfortunately, when it comes to Jessica Jones, it has all that nonsense, but it doesn't have a story or a character to really back it up. And Iron Fist is a weak show, but it's got a couple good characters in there. Colin Wee, for example, is, oh my God, so damn good. Jeffrey Toon says Amanda Ward's husband is just as bad. They're a horrible couple. Yeah, I've seen some of the things he's posted too, and it's disgusting. Joshua Davis says there's nothing wrong with diversity. There's just have to be positive demand of these MCU characters. I apologize for my typo from my previous post. I accidentally pressed send too early. That's fine. Again, no problem. Again, and we're all imperfect. All of us make mistakes. So don't ever retract a comment if you misspell something. Just correct it, and it's not gonna be a problem. But yeah, again, there's nothing wrong with diversity. Again, the problem is when it's forced diversity, when it's trying to be, when it's being diverse for the sake of being diverse and not just, oh, this is a good character and this is the best actor for it. You know what I mean? Like, there is a difference between the two. Cyclone says, to be honest, I'm really upset about Lando being cut. I mean, what happened to him being, I know Disney's going to be like, let's add him to the next movie, then die by useless thing with a lucky 0.1 troop shot. Jason Ward says, Jeffrey Toon. Yep. Mech says, isn't it odd that SJWs that come from a Christian background household forget that Eve was formed from 2 of Adam's rib bones? All right, I don't want to jump into theology here, but from a Catholic perspective, there's some problems with it. Again, I don't know if you're being sarcastic there or if you're being theological. That's a conversation for another day, because again, I don't want to try and bring too many theological conversations on this channel, at least at a very deep level, just because I know that there's some people who just have no interest in that. So I'm going to hold off on that for now. Let me know though if that's meant to be sarcastic or if you're meant to be if that's something that you think, because again, I respect you, but I do have a different take on that from a theological perspective. RT says, what's funfetti? It's basically white cake with like little, like, it's hard to describe, but basically it's like color in the cake. It's like different little specks of color, and I don't like it. I don't trust it. I don't like it at all. Trevor Dean says, we are all afraid of what they will do to Lando. Yep. Or what Lando will do to the machines. That's what I'm worried about, especially after him being revealed he's pansexual, which is just, C-Dog says, the great Max von Sydow lasted 5 minutes in Force Awakens. What a waste of talent. And why did Kylo kill the only person who knew where the Luke was? I have to add this to the textbook. Yes, please do add it, because that's an excellent point. And yes, oh my goodness, Max von Sydow was totally wasted in that film. You're absolutely right about that. And yeah, more problems. Cyclone says, let the Force protect Lando. Jeffrey Toon says, in the UK, Mr. Kipling's makes exceedingly good cakes. I would love to visit the UK. I've only ever been to Ireland. I've been to Mexico and Ireland. Those are the only places out of the country that I've ever been to. I've always wanted to go to the UK though. So I will take you up on that though. If I'm ever in there, I'm going to check out Kipling's, Mr. Kipling's. That sounds awesome. Jeffrey 70B, thank you for posting a link. So guys, go check out Random Game User. She's awesome. Egg, what's up, Egg? Good evening. Been busy at work. Any big news tonight? Nothing major. I've been floating around the idea of Patreon, so that's something I've been floating around every few seconds. But yeah, so let me know if you have any thoughts on that. I know you're busy. I know you have a lot to work. Stephanie B says, I dropped a link. Yes, thank you very much, Stephanie. You're awesome. You are fantastic. Deborah Toon says, about 15 years ago, Mr. Kipling belonged to Smith and Wesson. That was a random pairing. I don't know anything about that. Yeah, Random Games, absolutely. Again, I will shout out anyone on this channel who has a YouTube channel. I have no problem with that because Random, I watch her content and she's great. She's awesome. So yeah, I have no problem doing that because again, we're a community, we're a family here, and we support each other. Simple as that. Lost Soldier says, I will totally pay to see you Chewy that Shapoopy song in a Chewy voice. Oh my God. All right. Well, I'm glad I have one vote of confidence, Lost Soldier. That's great. Jason Clark says, DiCaprio is a great actor, but I'm not sure for Star Wars, what character could he play? Yeah, that is a good question. He is so diverse as a character that I think there's a lot of things he could play. Nemesis says, all right, gotta go. Much love you guys. I hate working early, Odin. I'll chat at you soon, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. Nemesis. Again, Nemesis is great. Check him out on Twitter. He's fantastic. He's awesome. We always have good conversations over there. So Nemesis, I'm so sorry you haven't been able to join these live streams lately. And hopefully you can you can join us either tomorrow early. We're going to do early stream tomorrow. So that way I can go pick up my wife at the airport. And then we're going to do another one at around this time on Sunday. So around the 8 o'clock Central Standard Time on Sunday. But yeah, thank you very much. RT says, edible confetti only in America. It might as well be. That's why I don't trust it. Super says, since RT mentioned McAdams, got me thinking, what is your opinion on Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies? Sorry, this is sacrilege, but I have to know. I like it. I like those films. I like them a lot. I think they're both good. I like the first one better than Game of Shadows, but I do like them. I think that Robert Downey Jr. plays a really great Sherlock Holmes. I think that he's great. I also think that Watson is great as well. And yeah, I think Rachel McAdams works in that role as well. So I like them. I have a positive view of those films for sure. I like those a lot. RC says Lilith was the first female, though not Eve. Oh boy, now we're getting into it. Oh wait, RTE, was that a Supernatural reference? Because if that was a Supernatural show reference, I will greatly appreciate that. Cyclone says, have you seen the video Hostile on the Hill by Bad Lip Reading? No, I have not, but I do love Bad Lip Reading. My favorite is when they did the first Republican debate because oh my goodness, so many great songs that they did for those characters. Meg says, I can understand your reluctance, but just be clear. I wasn't being sarcastic at all. It's something that I find very odd. Nevertheless, consider the subject drop. Okay, yeah, again, I'm not attacking you at all, Mex. It's just something where I think we could have maybe a conversation on Twitter or maybe there can be a stream. Maybe I'll do this one day. I'll have a stream where it'll be like an open forum, and then I'll be able to open up more about theology and things like that. So yeah, definitely for sure. Max was absolutely wasted. RT says, absolutely. RT says, why would you get an actor like that for 2 lines? Damn right. Also, says, thanks, song. Now you have the song stuck in my head. The different team says, because you'd show the main cast up. Yep, you were right about that. Game user gonna switch computers. BRB sounds good. Jason Clark says Max would steal every scene. You were right about that. Oh, I mean, even those 2 lines, he did a fantastic job. C-Dog says, Tune, you're 100% right. Greta says, speaking of Leo and Star Wars, apparently they wanted him to play older Anakin, but he decided he wanted his career going. He didn't want his career going in that direction. Interesting. Thank you for that fact. That's very interesting. RT says, yeah, well, but Luke is the main character and he did more in The Last Jedi. Yeah, that is true. RT says, Leo DiCaprio. Lost Soldier, Random subbed. Awesome. Yeah, definitely go support Random. She's awesome. RT says, no Bible reference. Wasn't the first female called Lilith. Okay. No, not in the Bible. Lilith is not mentioned in the Bible. Super says, okay, cool. I think the same about Sherlock Holmes movies. For some reason, the internet considers them to be divisive. Yeah, I don't understand that because I've always had a positive. Everyone I talk to says, yeah, I like them. I mean, they're not the best movies, like as far as like quality, like they're not like anything to write home about, but they're good. I mean, they're fine. It's like kind of like the Ocean's movies where I think Ocean's 11 is fantastic, but Ocean's 12 and 13, they're not bad. They're fine. So yeah, that's how I feel about Sherlock Holmes. They're fine. I like them. Cyclist says, Lost Soldier, Dad, you're the coolest. Oh, that's cute. Everyone says, yeah, the problem with the Bible is it doesn't go into much detail about the early stuff, no mention of Lilith, etc. Well, that's because you have to understand what the Bible is and how it came together. And again, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a separate stream where it will be an open forum, and I'll have in the topic heading saying like theology. I'll probably stay away from politics for now, but we'll be able to talk about more random stuff like that that's not movie or Star Wars related. So I'll definitely open that up though for one of the streams though, since it seems to be a topic of some interest. Cyclone says, who's RTE and what is RTE? RTE is Rose Tico and Theseus, and the reason why is because Rose Tico and Theseus suggested I call him RTE because I kept slipping up on his name because I can't say words sometimes, and so he said, just call me RTE, so I call him RTE. So that's the reason why. Tina, more coffee, great. Let's see, Super says, oh, another thing, speaking of DiCaprio, Scorsese, opinions of Joaquin Phoenix as Joker. Joaquin Phoenix is a very, very good actor, and I think that he puts himself, he dives so deeply into his roles. I mean, just look at like the role he did when he like tried rap and stuff like that. Like he went deep into that character. I think that he would make a really good Joker in the right hands. If he was in a film with DiCaprio and Scorsese, that would be amazing. I think he would be a really, really good Joker for sure. RT says, oh, I thought originally male and female were equal. They were a female before Eve, and then she died or something. So God had to make the next female bones of. All right. So very, very briefly, the way the creation accounts work is that there are two creation accounts. Therefore, if you take the Bible in a literal way, it doesn't make any sense because you can't have two stories of creation. So basically, you have to understand it that there were a collection of stories that were put together over time, and that the two stories are meant to convey the nature of God and man. And so therefore, the first creation account talks about the creation of the world in general, and then the second creation account focuses specifically on the creation of man. And so so in the first creation account, it says God created man, male and female, he created them. And so therefore, male and female were always equals with each other, always meant to be complementary to each other. And that is the explanation for that. So again, I'm not going to dive too much deeper into it. That's just brief. And that was your brief theology corner from Mr. Odin. C-Doc says JJ should have had Chewbacca instead of Finn on Jakku looking for the flamingo on Solo. Yeah, I would agree. Jefferson says that will be great, Odin. Yeah, I think so. Tina is back. Jason Clark, yes. Oh, sorry, man. Really? Says Jeffrey Toon. Jeffrey Toon, what are you saying really to? Clarify that, please. All right, I'm going to head out for a second. I'm going to make sure my dogs are okay. They're fighting right now, so let me just double check. Y'all okay? Y'all being good girls? Up. All right. They're just fighting. They're just yelling. So I'm probably going to end this. In the next 15 minutes. Let's see what we can hear. C-Doc Suggs, and Chewbacca should have been piloting the flamingo instead of Mary Sue Ray, who was there the whole time doing barrel rolls, evading TIE fighters. I know, right? Like someone who's never had any experience with the Falcon, except when she could randomly fly it perfectly in the first film. And then you have someone who's been driving the Falcon shotgun driving the Falcon really for years. Doesn't make any sense. Now my dog's barking at me outside my door. Random users are back. RJ's really confused now. We'll have to go read about it. Oh, sorry. I try to be as clear as I can. Max says, can we be excused from class now? Yes, you may. Cyclone says, no class is interesting. Max says, of course your dogs are being good. There are no fireworks going on to scare them. That is very true. C-Dog says, once again, looks good on film. It makes zero sense. Jeffrey says, Mex entered something about Lilith about being a later invention of Jewish mythology, but let's drop the religion for now. Yeah, again, we'll talk about that more suitable time. Yeah, so again, that's not a part of Christianity. I can tell that for a fact. Lilith is not a part of Christianity, and that's all I can really say about that. Let's see. RC says she was a mechanic though and had previous experience with ships. Yeah, but Millennium Falcon is not. I mean, just because you have experience with ships in general, because also too, if she had experience with a ship that can fly, no, never mind. Because the whole point of her story is that she doesn't want to leave because she's afraid her parents are going to come and she wants to be there. But again, I just don't think. I think that's thin. I think that's a little too thin to work. LOL. All right. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm gonna. Oh my goodness. The first thing, I am going to clean up this fuzz on the ground because my dogs decided to destroy one of my pillows. River specifically. And And then I'm going to let my dogs back in. And hopefully this time they don't destroy one of my pillows. I might have to hide one of them, specifically the one that is destroyed. Oh, man, these dogs, I love them to death, but they drive me crazy. So I'm going to put this pillow up here. I'm going to put this pillow on top. And hopefully that should be enough. This is what my dogs have done. All this fuzz. All this fuzz. Taken out of my pillow. All right. Hey, pups. All right. Come on. There you go. Congratulations, you're in here. And now you're going to be on the stream. All right. So, for anyone new, this is River. River is a sweetheart, but she hates being held. She hates being off the ground because she's afraid of heights. But she is a sweetheart. She also likes to rip up pillows. And she likes to bark, and her bark is very annoying at times. But I got you. I got you. Yeah, so that is River. And, well, all right, and this is Willow, and she likes to be held, but unfortunately, this is not a very comfortable position for her. But she is also a sweetheart. Yes, she is. She is. Hi, puppies. And then they get jealous of each other. And, all right, go play. Go play. Leave me alone, please. All right, anyway, those were my puppies. And now they're going to fight each other. So, all right, let's jump back into this chat. Also, guys, if you like what you're hearing so far, hit that like button. I would appreciate that. Smash that like button. Oh, my dogs are crazy. Stephanie says, Ray should have manifested some better food to eat. I know, right? RT says, same could be said of Luke, though. It's debatable. Yeah. That could be a very deep discussion. 70B says, it was Soylent Green. Pork sitter. Yeah, I saw that comment. Artist says manifested food. Yeah, you know how like the food just kind of like materializes. Mex says the Millennium Falcon is so crosswire that it can fly with 3/4 of its systems out of commission. It has 3 droid brains, computers. There's always arguing with each other, and it's and it's always falling apart. Removing a compressor is not going to magically fix that flying bucket of bolts. You have a great point. So maybe he says, you are a good papa. Well, thank you very much. I hope that I am. I hope my puppies love me. Jason Clark says, I knew Leo was a great actor after watching What's Eating Gilbert. Great. Yeah, from very early on, very, very talented actor. And he's just continued to do really good parts. Second one says, oh, I know. I love my puppies. RD says, isn't the feminist robot now part of the system? Unfortunately, yes. That's why it's now the flamingo. Adam Davies says, River. Yep, River is amazing. My River. I'm petting her right now. Max says, so screw you, Mary Sue, and screw you, KK, Jar Jar Abrams, and the story group. Yep. 100% yes. Sammy says River and Willow equals sister. Yeah. That was another good show. Meg says, your pups are so cute little monsters. They are. They are monsters, and they are both adorably cute. Cyclone says, double. Lost Cells just says, Ray was a junker, not necessarily a mechanic. I don't recall him saying she could fix things or fly for that matter. Nevertheless, perform a couple complex dogfights at high speeds and at low altitude with a ship that is falling apart that she's never driven before. Yep. Again, I think there's just too many holes to that in particular. Greta says, so cute. Yes, they are. Now they're sniffing through my stuff. C-Dog says, let's just take the SJW L3 was doing the barrel holes and invading TIE fighters because this at least makes sense. Yeah, but they didn't explain it that way. Again, it made it seem like she was the one doing all the maneuvering. And also, as far as the L3, I know that you're not being serious, but like as far as L3 being a part of the ship, that's just the navigation system. That's not actually, doing, complex maneuvers at a low altitude. That's like, hey, we want to go here. How do we get here? How do we plot hyperspace? It has more to do with that than anything else. So he says, like it and sub 2. Awesome. Yeah, definitely go support Random Game User. RT says, still haven't seen Solo. Don't worry about it. You don't have to. Termitine says, in that scene in New Hope where they are explaining the plan to attack the Death Star, they do kind of explain how Luke is suitable for the mission. Yep. So again, I feel like there's enough in there to help support that. Jason Clark says, wait a second. Are you guys telling me that the droid from Solo is now a permanent part of the Millennium Falcon? Yep. That is now canon. And that's why it's now no longer the Millennium Falcon, but the Millennium Flamingo. And it's very sad. It's very sad. Sea-Dog says, kind of like the Flamingo taking a lame shortcut during the Kessel Run. I did like the Kessel Run sequence, though. That's one of the few parts that I liked. RT says she's not performing a couple's dogfight. She's swaying the ship around, trying to avoid them, and then sets up the ship so Finn can shoot the last one. Yeah, but still very complex fighting in very tight, tight spaces. So Cyclone says, liked, oh, I forgot, Dad, you might remember this. We bought Star Wars Last Jedi and just made fun of it. We didn't even want to enjoy it, just have our opinion. You bought The Last Jedi? Lost soldier, you've lost some respect, man. RT says her takeoff is disastrous. She drags the ship along the ground. Yeah, but then she acts like she's a pro when she's in the air. That's again, it's inconsistent. RT, I think I understand where you're coming from, RT, but I just feel like it's so inconsistent that's the biggest problem with it. Jeffrey Tune says ability. Jason Clark says, oh my gosh, really? That totally ruins Millennium Falcon for me now. How come we've never heard of it until now? Because they didn't add it until Solo, and Solo had L337, who was just garbage. Sea-Dog says you didn't get the memo on the Falcons update yet. RT says we don't know. She hasn't driven it though. She's clearly familiar with the ship, as she calls it, junk. Yes, I feel like it's a little thin. I think RT. I think the logic is a little thin on that. I think there's more to justify Luke being good than there is to justify Rey being good. Personally, Sammy B says before you go, please like and sub and follow on Twitter. 70B, thank you for shouting me out. That is why you are the general of my Valkyrie. Sea-Dog says I'm not being serious in the least, Odin. That's why I thought. I assume so. Jason Clark says, what kind of dogs do you have? So they are both mutts. River, the black one, she is a Australian Shepherd and Lab mix. And then Willow, who is the red, brown, and black and white one, she is a German Shepherd and Beagle mix. And I love them, and they are so cute. Adopt, don't shop, because they are the best. Super says, since Solo is kind of a prequel, doesn't that make L337 worse? Not only did she become a part of the ship in the movie, but it implies that she always was throughout the trilogy. Ew. Yeah, exactly. So literally by watching this film and by having that knowledge be put in us, now that just ruins any time the Millennium Falcon is on screen, except in Solo before she's made a part of a ship. Yep, it ruins everything pretty much at this point. Artie says Luke never flew an X-Wing though. Start of the film, he's only a naive farm boy. At the end of this film, he's put in charge of the X-Wing assault. I'm sure. I don't know. Super says make the Millennium Falcon great again. Cyclone says I'm cracking up. I'm so cracking up. Jeffrey Toon says the T-16 has a similar control system to an X-Wing. All right. I knew that there would be some people who would have like more knowledge about the X-Wing and be able to justify it. Super says the Solo name is stupid. Yeah, no. Who's your family? I don't have anyone. All right, so you'll be Han Solo. Like that's how it comes across in the movie, and it's awful. RT says, I don't know, she acts like a pro. She's very nervous all through the fight, hoping to get things working. But then you see the actual flying of the ship, and it just doesn't make sense. Jason Clark says, Millennium Flamingo, got it. RT says, talking to herself, telling herself she can do it. Well, because she's nervous. Again, she's still a nervous person. I mean, whether, but still, it doesn't explain the pro flying. RT says, I just think it's debatable if you can buy Luke being a pro if all of a sudden Rey isn't as big of a stretch. Yeah, I just don't think there's as much there. Sea-Dog says, you like that Kessel Run? Wasn't about speed and skill, but shortcut. Yeah, because I feel like it fits Han Solo's character. Again, because he is he's a smuggler. He's a ruffian. I mean, I think it fits his character. So he says, did I just say the Twitter? Just like my mom, the Twitter. Yes, the Twitter machine, the Facebooks. RT says, all the same tune. He's not a pro. He's an amateur. RT says, and Rey might have flown ships with similar controls in the Falcon. I just don't think there's enough there. I'm curious to know how Rey even learned to read, let alone how to fly dual mind trick. Yep. Hidden Clark says Lawrence Kasdan has been waiting in the wings for years to subvert and destroy Star Wars. I think it's more of his son, John Kasdan, because it was John Kasdan who in the interview said that Lando was pansexual, and I feel like a lot of that can be attributed to John and not Lawrence personally. Lost Soldier says, do you think Disney is okay with slavery? I just thought about this. George called them slavers, then they save the animals but leave the humans, and L3 was all droids' rights and then ended up stuck in the Falcon forever. It's kind of horrifying when you think about it. Yep, it really is. So it's funny how like it's like, oh, she's alive forever, but then she's a slave forever. It's a good point. Deborah says, probably not RTE. She lives in a junk pile. RTE says, the only thing I'm critical about Rey is she probably learns her powers a bit too fast with no real knowledge about what she's capable of. I put that down in the modern film making. Yeah, I just don't think it works, though. Jason Clark says, man, you got some good-looking dogs, especially Willow. Well, thank you very much. I do think they're very, very cute. Most people actually like River more. A lot of people think River is cuter, but I do love them both equally. What are you doing? Seriously? One of them found my goggles in one of my bags from camp and was trying to eat it. That was River. She is the trouble child. Let me fix my chair. Oh. All right. Super says, how is that cameo possible? Lazy writing. Yep. Very lazy. Susception tune. Lost Source says, oh my goodness, the Solo name even gets passed on to Ben. I'd change my name to Kylo if I found out Solo wasn't our family name too. That's a very good point. Tina says, rememberly break in. Mex says, exactly, he wanted to get with Leia and later Mara Jade and later his wife Tendra. Deborah Toon says, the problem is they don't explain about Rey knowing about ships in the movie, but as you say, RT, it's modern movie making. Super says, Kira was the only interesting character in the movie. She was better than Han and Leia. Yeah, but even then, I don't think she was very interesting. I actually think Woody Harrelson's character was more interesting. I think that he had the best performance, and that's the reason why I liked his character the most, I would say, probably. RG says they can put Mara Jade in if Luke is dead. Kind of odd. Yeah, but you know what? Modern filmmaking, as you said. Max says EVS was right about the Kaz days. It's time to go get Daddy's belt. Yes, good shout out to EVS. C-Dog says, please leave the Phantom away. Too many disagreements. Sexist man baby. RT says they do explain it, though, Tune, when her and Finn are rambling to each other over the fight. She says she has flown ships, just not off-world. Nah. Jason Clark says, the more I hear about Solo, the more pissed off I'm getting, so I'm glad I didn't waste money. Go, yeah, don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. Because I think it's worse to waste your time with that film than your money. Because there's other ways to watch it. Just don't waste it. Let's see. C-Dog says, did you like Solo over Rogue One? No, I like Rogue One more. I think Rogue One is a better film, and it's a film I'd rather watch again. I will go see Rogue One again for you, C-Dog, but I have no interest in seeing Solo ever again in my life. RG says, I just don't see how it works unless it flashbacks. Then Tina says, all right, so I'm caught up with the chat, guys, so I'm going to start to wrap up this chat. We've been going for a pretty good long time. We've been going for 3 hours. Oh my goodness, guys, this time always flies by for me. It's insane, and it has everything to do with y'all. Y'all are amazing. All of your comments, all of your questions, every single thing that you'll bring. I mean, it's really great how I forgot who said it, but oh my goodness, like the fact that they talk about how this really is now becoming a family, and I love it. It's like I love spending time with y'all every single night. I love just engaging with y'all every single night. And again, I don't think of y'all as like my fans or as my subs or anything like that. I think of y'all again really as a family, as really we're becoming in a lot of ways like close friends, even though we don't know each other. So guys, I appreciate y'all just being here. So I'm gonna go ahead and read these final comments before I officially leave for the night. Cedar says, yeah, me too. Super says, I couldn't take Beckett seriously because of just how instantly he was over Val and let her isolate his only principle of not trusting anyone. Okay, again, I don't think he's perfect, but I like Woody Harrelson. That's the only reason why I prefer that character. It has nothing to do with his story arc. I don't think he's the best written character. I just really like that character overall for his reason. So B says, woohoo! Tina says, you guys are taking up my evenings, but it's a nice way to spend an evening. It really is, because this really is awesome. Cyclone says, I'm confused in the Amazing George Lucas. Emperor Palps can't kill one person, but in the game I can get 123 person kill streak. RT says, average over 20 chatters too. Well done. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. You know, we're slowly growing. We're slowly getting more people in here, but I think we're getting the right people in here. We're getting people who are able to engage in this community, who are able to just click with all of us. And again, we're not all the same. We all have different opinions. I mean, RTE, we've been having the discussion back and forth. I mean, none of us are the same. We're all different. That's what's great. That's what family is. Not all family members are the same. We all bring something different to the table, and it's awesome. It's great. And I mean, again, I love this community so freaking much. Simon says, oh, Adam Davies says, see Asgard, love you all, love you, Adam Davies. RG says, that's not only ship she's flown. Max, RG says, that wasn't a ship anyway, more like Speeder. Speeder, Greta says, have a good night, y'all. Stephanie B says, don't forget to like it before you go and tip your Valkyrie. Yes, digital cookies to the Valkyrie. And yes, please like the video before you leave. Let's try and get this bad boy up to 30 likes if we can. I don't know if that's possible at this point. I don't know how many people have liked it so far, but please make sure you do so. Cyclone says the live stream is ending. Yes, unfortunately, we've been going for 3 hours. I mean, again, I would love to stay on for longer, but it's 10:35 here. I need to start getting ready for bed. I've got to mow the lawn in the morning. I've got to get the house ready for when my wife gets back tomorrow night. So yeah, I mean, I would love to go longer, but 3 hours is just, I mean, again, y'all have been rocking it. And I've loved every second of these 3 hours, but yeah, unfortunately, we have to call it a night. So yes, everybody, awesome. Everyone's saying goodbye. Everyone's saying goodbye. Jeffrey Toon says T-17 isn't a speeder type of ship. All right, Jeffrey Toon and RT are still going back and forth. That's what we are. We're family. Night People says him. Random Game User, cookie. Please, yes, give those cookie tips to the Valkyrie. C-Dog says, fun as always. I'll just go count my cookies now. Think about watching Rogue One again. Think about watching Rogue One again. All right, well, I'm glad you are. I'm glad that you liked it. I appreciate that you like it. And I hope that on my second viewing, I like it a little bit more. Lost Soldier says, adios, everybody. Tina, cookies. Artie says, that's not really well. Oh, my goodness. Y'all still having the conversation. I appreciate it, but oh, my goodness. Cyclone says, Night People, that was awesome. It's because reasons. Where were you here? I did a blind like, but I have watched a few of your vids at least. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that still. And again, please join us on our live streams. We do this all the time, and it's great. Let's see. Okay. Get home safe to 70B. Tina says, good grief. It's 11:36 here and no to spend time with your wife. She isn't home yet. She's going to be home tomorrow. So that's why I'm not going to do a late stream tomorrow. She gets in around 7:25 here. So I'll do probably like a 6 o'clock live stream tomorrow, Central Standard Time. And don't worry, I'm going to spend time with my wife tomorrow. So again, I'm not doing a live stream later tomorrow. So definitely going to do that, Tina. Thank you very much for always reminding me. Good night, everybody. You too. Night, Tina. Night, Jeff. Says RTE. No Brad tonight. Unfortunately, no Brad. No Alien either. I hope Alien somehow gets into it at some point. You will. Just do it. Okay, C-Dog. Again, I will. Tina says, no, Brad. Darn it. I know, right? It's so sad. Jedi Starship. What's up, Jedi Starship? Sorry you came in late. Was busy, but I'm glad with all the Star Wars fans watching the Disney agenda and their acolytes slowly falling from their high chairs. Damn right. Absolutely. And again, Jedi Starship. Again, sorry, I'm going to do a live stream earlier tomorrow, so I don't know if it's going to be better or worse for you. Probably around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll put the time in on YouTube and also on Twitter as well, so please keep an eye out for that. So maybe says, ooh. RD says, well, the conversation was her and Finn rambling at each other. You know the scene at the end when fighting ties. Super Anime says, thanks to you again for hosting one of the best chats on YouTube. Well, thank you very much. I hope your wife was a good, safe trip, and I hope that you have a great rest of your night as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm sure she was. She's been loving her time in Tulsa, so definitely. Because reasons, sleep like a Wookiee. I don't think I'm going to be sleeping. It's too hot to be in the onesie tonight. But for sure, C-Dog, that Vader scene. I know, C-Dog, I hear you. Bro, I hear you, man. Tina says, good night, everybody. I'll look for around 6 Central if possible. Again, Tina or Steph, if you can't join at that time, no problem at all. Again, y'all, you do not have to join every live stream if you honestly can't. Even if you don't want to, again, that's fine. No hard feelings. I always appreciate when y'all are here. Y'all are awesome. Thanks, Mex. Jason Clark, do you think the standalone Boba Fett film will still happen at this point? Not at this point. Jedi says, good night, everyone. Get that much deserved rest. Everyone here. Mex, everyone later. Jessica Point says, Jason Clark says, point. I'm not sure. All right, guys. Have a great night. As always, have a good night. And God bless. Have a good one, everybody. Doggies are sniffing around. All right. I love you guys so much. Stay safe, guys.